I have spent the last 3 years documenting every change, censor or edit I could find within the 4Kids version of One Piece, and have been cataloguing them into a series on my channel. Now that I have finally reached the end of this series, I have decided to combine all the videos into one huge compilation for an easier viewing experience. Be aware that my voice may sound different throughout the video, as each section was recorded at different times. The first 2 videos worth of content, those being the Romance Dawn and Syrup Village arcs, have also been re-recorded to ensure a more professional sounding product. I'll be adding in extra content sprinkled throughout that weren't present in the original videos to add extra context or to correct previous mistakes. Before we begin, let me give you a brief summary of who 4Kids are and how the 4Kids dub of One Piece came to be. 4Kids is an American company formerly known for their, although often mocked, massively successful dubs of Japanese anime that they license in order for them to localize and bring to Western audiences. Such examples of anime that they licensed and translated were Yu-Gi-Oh!, Sonic X and Pokemon, all being dubbed by 4Kids, with Pokemon likely being their most well-known localization, dubbing the series all the way up to Season 8 with over 400 episodes to their name. With many a success under their belt, they attempted to turn One Piece into a minor success as well. This was after having little desire to originally acquire the anime, only receiving the license for the anime in a package deal alongside a show they did want. They started work on making One Piece family friendly, so it could be aired on the common Saturday morning cartoon slots of the time, and in doing so, would ruin One Piece's reputation in the West for half a decade. 4Kids would go on to create 104 episodes, which featured content from the first 143 episodes of the original uncensored Japanese version, dubbed from the Romance Dawn arc all the way up to the Post-Arabasta filler arcs, which ended with the Rainbow Mist arc. They would then go on to lose the dubbing rights to Funimation, who have continued to dub One Piece into English to this day. Before we begin, I just want to throw out some spoiler warnings to anyone watching. This video will contain major spoilers for episodes 1 to 143, as these are the episodes that are the main focus of this video. Medium spoilers for episodes 337 to 381, and minor spoilers for episodes 579 to 625, so proceed with caution. If you haven't already done so, then please subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with future One Piece related content. Like the video if you liked it, and do check out the other ways you can support the channel, such as my YouTube channel membership and Patreon. Now come and join me as we list all of the changes, edits and censorships that were made to One Piece by the 4Kids production company. It's quite a journey. Episode 1. Right off the bat, we get our first change with the intro having been altered to include clips from the anime and the iconic theme, We Are, being replaced with the One Piece rap.
Yo! Don't give it up, Luffy. Don't give it up, Solo. Don't give it up, Nami. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Every episode title has been changed to fit with the context of the 4Kids episodes, as some episodes do not begin or end in the same location as the original Japanese episodes. Pretty much every major or minor character who is considered a pirate in the show has had their dialect changed in some way to mimic the pirate accent stereotype that is present here in the West, and will often use pirate lingo throughout the show.
You scurvy coward! You ought to walk the plank for not fighting with the rest of us!
That's not it!
This does however get slowly phased out as the series goes along. The original Japanese music score has been completely replaced with 4Kids' own soundtrack throughout the entirety of the anime. Some of the music is actually reused from their previous shows. Nami is seen kicking a pirate in between his legs in the Japanese version, while 4Kids cuts down the scene so it's less obvious. A bounce sound effect was added in the scene where Luffy breaks 2 swords off screen. 4Kids censored the scene where Evita throws her mace at her subordinate and sends him flying, as well as removing the scene where the mace falls back down, hitting the other 2 pirates on the head. The commercial break eye catchers have been removed and are replaced with fade-ins and outs. 4Kids also includes an extra ad break for American audiences. As Luffy smashes his way out of the barrel, he shouts with his mouth wide open. It seems 4Kids thought it would be a bit awkward that Luffy is speaking but his mouth isn't moving, so they edited in mouth flaps and movements to his face. In the 4Kids dub of One Piece, Kobe pleads to Luffy to not hit him, which Luffy then states he wasn't going to. In the Japanese broadcast, Luffy does in fact hit Kobe, just because.
Kobe, stop it! Don't hit me! I wasn't going to hit you. Oh.
4Kids removed the scene where Luffy is seen punching a pirate in the face, but left in the scene a few seconds before where he is also seen headbutting a pirate in the face. Personally, I think the headbutt looked far more painful. Devil Fruits have had their name changed to Cursed Fruits, likely due to the religious reference in the original name. Luffy's Gum Gum pistol ability has been changed to Gum Gum Blast. The military force known as Kaigen in the Japanese broadcast has had their logos branded with the word Marine written in English. This is despite the fact that Kaigen actually translates into English as the Navy. 4Kids decided to change all the text relating to Kaigen to Navy, which was likely done so it would cause less confusion as they are trying to target a younger audience. The ending theme and animation have been removed and replaced with an alternate version of the 4Kids intro rap. The next episode previews have also been removed. Episode 2. Roronoa Zoro's name has been changed to Zolo. This was done to avoid possible copyright infringement with another fictional character of a similar name. Viz Media also changed Zoro's name to Zolo when bringing the manga over to the West, and is still the official name for Zoro in the English version of the manga. At the beginning of the episode, Kobe is speaking about Zoro, and the scene jumps to Zoro cutting down an unknown pirate, implying he killed them. This was censored in the 4Kids version. Zoro is seen tied up to a cross-like structure in the Japanese, while 4Kids had the top removed to refrain from any references to religion. 4Kids also censored Yu-Gi-Oh for a similar reason. 4Kids changed the type of food that the little girl gives Zoro from rice balls to cookies, as onigiri isn't commonly well known in the West. At least it's better than pretending they're donuts.
These donuts are great! Jelly-filled are my favorite! Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut!
Instead of taking the time to edit the note Helmeppo is holding into English, they save themselves some precious editing time and just remove showing the note from the scene. In the flashback where we are shown the reason Zoro was tied up, 4Kids censored Zoro punching Helmeppo in the face. This also caused them to censor the bruise that can be seen on Helmeppo shortly after. In the very same shot, 4Kids also redrew Zoro's sword to be further away from Helmeppo's neck than in the Japanese version. Nami is shown for the first time in this episode with a panning shot of her legs going upwards. 4Kids thought this would be too sexual for their target audience and started the camera further up. Helmeppo's glass of wine has been changed to juice, with 4Kids changing the colour to orange. Captain Morgan's cigar is removed from the 4Kids version. In the scene where Captain Morgan attacks the soldier that is refusing to obey an order, the sound effect of the axe hitting the soldier has been removed in the 4Kids edit.
Won't.
This was probably done to remove the overall impact of the hit. Another big change to the One Piece world in the 4Kids version is the censorship of weapons, namely guns. Throughout the series, we'll be seeing a variety of ways that 4Kids went about censoring all kinds of weapons. In this particular episode, the guns of the Navy have been changed to look more like water guns. Episode 3. Going off the previous change, Helmeppo's pistol has been replaced with a cartoony spring hammer. The only remaining part of the pistol is the grip.
One more punch and say goodbye to your friend! I'll pummel his head flatter than the shape of the earth!
As Captain Morgan is about to attack Luffy with his hand axe, Zoro steps in and slices Morgan down. As he is falling, you can see small fragments of his shirt flying off him. In the 4Kids version, these fragments are removed. It really makes you wonder that if they took the time to edit small details like this, why they didn't do others like the note in the previous episode. When viewing the map of the Grand Line, the arrow that is shown to indicate the red line has been removed, along with most of the text seen on the map. Although it seems like 4Kids only went halfway with removing all the text, as there is still some that has been left on the map. Towards the end of the episode, as Luffy and co are about to leave the island, Luffy purposely antagonises Kobe by threatening to reveal that he was a part of Alvida's crew, in order to get Kobe to stand up for himself. Kobe punches Luffy in the face, with Luffy returning the favour, although the scene of Luffy punching Kobe is censored, while Kobe's punch was left in. Episode 4. The word anchor has been removed from Luffy's shirt, despite it being in English. This is the first instance of many that I'll be showing in this series where 4Kids decided to remove English text, seemingly for no reason. 4Kids had a habit of doing this in all their shows, and I've yet to see any logical reasoning for them to make these edits. Some people have tried to explain that they did this so they could sell it to foreign languages, but I don't think 4Kids would be the ones in charge of those licenses, and it'd be up to Toei to make those decisions. 4Kids removed the wine bottle that is next to Shanks during Luffy's flashback scene, but the very same wine bottle magically appears later when Shanks offers it to the Mountain Bandits, with its colour being changed to orange. We are already at the second instance of English text being removed, with Yasop having his name removed from his own bandana. During the confrontation between the red-haired pirates and the Mountain Bandits, the guns for both parties have been altered to look like cork and cap guns, and are stated as such, robbing the scene of its serious tone by implying the bandit fell over due to being scared of the cap gun going off so close to his ear, instead of actually being shot in the head and killed.
Huh? These weapons misfire at such close range.
What are you talking about?
But I admit, they can still give quite a scare. When he wakes up, someone tell him it was a cap gun.
Despite showing Shanks' crew member beating the bandits with his rifle, which was left unedited, they decided to remove the rifle along with his arm in the scene where he has him pointing the gun at the Mountain Bandits leader, just a few seconds later. 4Kids also removed his cigarette in any scenes that he appears in. Episode 5. Luffy punching a buggy pirate in the face has been censored. Luffy punching 2 more buggy pirates in the face has also been censored. Something tells me that 4Kids doesn't like people getting punched in the face very much. One of Buggy's crewmates has had his skin colour changed to avoid any possible racist undertones with the way the character's appearance is portrayed. In the panning shot of the buggy pirates celebrating, 4Kids censored a number of things, such as starting the panning shot a bit further on to remove one of the pirates chugging 7 beers, also removing wine bottles from the scenery and changing the sword that is balancing from the pirate's mouth to a balloon. The name of the pub that Buggy's crew has commandeered has been removed. The stab wound Zoro receives from Buggy has been heavily censored throughout the arc. After Luffy calls Buggy a big nose, Buggy launches his hand that is holding a knife straight at Luffy, but Luffy catches it in his mouth and breaks it. 4Kids censored this by having the knife fly back to Buggy instead, simply by reversing the animation. Episode 6. The full blast of the Buggy Bomb has been censored. Beast Tame Emoji's name has been changed to Beast Break Emoji, whatever that means. The scene in which Shushu bites Luffy's face has been edited to take place off screen. Luffy strangling Shushu after he eats the key has also been removed. Shushu's wounds have been edited to look less severe. The text seen on the pet food has been removed, just in case you were worried about your kids reading anything while they watch a pet store burn to the ground after a lion just kicked the crap out of a dog. Moji's bite marks have been replaced with bandages. Episode 7. The smoke trails coming off Buggy's crew members that he used as a body shield have been edited out, and Buggy can also be seen holding the 2 crewmates by the scruff of their shirts instead of their necks. However, the trails coming off Richie the Lion were left in. Kabaji's attacks that are focusing on Zoro's wounds from Buggy have been heavily censored. A scene showing one of Buggy's crewmates iron up Nami's chest was removed. The damage received by Kabaji from Zoro has also been heavily censored. Buggy's Chop Chop Rice Cracker ability has been renamed to Chop Chop Buzzsaw. Buggy's Chop Chop Cannon ability was renamed to Chop Chop Harpoon. Luffy's face injury from one of Buggy's attacks has been removed. Episode 8. During Buggy's flashback where he is bickering about which pole is colder with Shanks, which, a little side note, 4Kids actually changed the conversation to be about which pole makes the best ice cubes, the scene of Rayleigh hitting them both on the head was removed. The word danger has been removed from the canon cache. In this shot of Buggy's crewmates, a crew member has their gun removed, leaving behind a Yu-Gi-Oh-esque finger gun. As Buggy stands up in order to go plunder the incoming ship, he can be seen holding 2 swords, one in each hand. When he appears again, he is seen stabbing another pirate with one of the swords, while in the 4Kids version, the sword was removed, as to not imply Buggy had just killed someone, even though 4Kids showed the scene with Buggy holding 2 swords just moments before. However, 4Kids botched the edit and forgot to redraw the part of Buggy's arm that the sword overlays, leaving a partially drawn sword still visible. A treasure map Buggy finds has been edited to include travel lines on it. The bottle of rum Shanks is holding throughout his and Buggy's conversation has been edited out, which is inconsistent with 4Kids' other edits where they would just change the colour of the bottle. Luffy kicks Buggy in the balls to stop him from reaching Nami. In the 4Kids edit, Luffy kicks Buggy on the shin instead. Luffy's Gum Gum Bazooka ability has been changed to Gum Gum Double Barrel.
You're through, Buggy! Gum Gum Double Barrel!
Luffy's mouth has been edited a second time, this time when the Straw Hats are making their escape from Orange Town. Episode 9. In this video I'll also be including various non-censors. This is where I'll mention any time that 4Kids either forgot to censor something that was previously censored, or even when they may have added something in themselves that I would have thought that 4Kids wouldn't have approved of. One such non-censor is when Usopp is threatening Luffy and Zoro with his slingshot, and 4Kids adds the line of Luffy asking if Usopp is a gambling man, and would he put his life on the line.
Well, I think you're bluffing.
Are you a gambling man, Usopp? How much are you willing to bet we're bluffing? Would you stake your life on it? Would you?
In the original Japanese version, there is no mention of gambling, which is why it's puzzling to me as to why 4Kids would add in the extra line of dialogue, especially considering the young audience they're trying to target would likely have no concept of gambling in the first place. The Usopp pirates have been renamed the Veggie Pirates. Yasopp's pistol has had its muzzle coloured orange. The name Party Bar has been removed from the entrance of the bar. The word milk has been removed from Luffy's cup of milk. Episode 10. The cross-popping veins on Zoro's head have been removed, but the sound effect still remains.
He is strangely weird.
The scene where Usopp is imagining pirates raiding Kaya's home and killing her has been completely removed. The flashback of when Usopp and Kaya meet for the first time has also been removed. At this point, 4Kids have cut out so many scenes and episode padding from each episode that they are now having to use content from future episodes in order to reach the 22-minute runtime for its TV time slot. To continue keeping things simple, we have followed the episode count of the Japanese broadcast. Episode 11. The flashback showing Usopp telling Kaya his lies has been removed. The pistol Merry is holding has been censored, changing its colour to blue and adding an orange muzzle onto it. The scene where Merry shoots Usopp and hits him in the arm has instead been edited so Merry in fact misses the shot and Usopp walks away with no injury. One of Captain Kuro's crewmates that can be seen blowing fire from his mouth has been censored to remove the fire. As the Straw Hats are preparing to battle against the Black Cat pirates by the shore, a close-up of Luffy has been edited by 4Kids to have his right eye drawn back in. Episode 12. Captain Kuro slicing Merry down has been heavily censored, removing the scene in front of the curtains and any blood, such as the blood on his claw blades. So 4Kids actually did something interesting for this change. The scene where Captain Kuro is running his claw blades across Kaya's neck while she is sleeping has been edited to have his hand be replaced with a shadow of the same scene. In my opinion, this is better than just removing the scene entirely and still provides the suspense of the original scene. Similar to what happened with Zoro and his swords in episode 2, Captain Kuro's claws have been shortened so they don't extend all the way to Kaya's neck. The hammer smack to the face Usopp receives from one of Kuro's crewmates has been censored to remove the impact part of the hit. In the Japanese version, Nami gets knocked over while fighting off the Black Cat pirates. In the 4Kids version, the scene has been completely removed, with any future scene of Nami on the ground being removed too. Just a little side note, with the end of this episode, the 4Kids version of One Piece is now one full episode behind the Japanese broadcast. That means throughout the last 12 episodes, somehow, 4Kids have removed around 22 minutes of content. Episode 13. Luffy's Gum Gum Gatling ability has been renamed Gum Gum Rapid Fire.
Gum Gum Rapid fire!
In Kaya's dream sequence, 4Kids removed the part showing the close-up of Usopp holding his sword up against Kaya's face. Merry's injuries that he received from Captain Kuro have been censored. Zoro slices one of the Meow Brown brothers through the stomach in the Japanese, while in the 4Kids version they have toned down the extent of the slice. The injury Zoro receives in return by the Meow Brown brothers have been censored to remove any blood. Nami has also had her injuries from Django censored to remove the blood coming from her wounds. Episode 14. In the title sequence of Episode 14, or Episode 13 in the 4Kids version, the animation of the water has been completely replaced. This change is honestly baffling to me, as it just seems so meaningless. I even checked the Funimation dub of this scene just to make sure it wasn't a case of Toei updating the animation for the DVD release, and the water in the funny dub is consistent with the Japanese broadcast, so I guess someone at 4Kids just had too much time on their hands. Kuro's pussyfoot maneuver ability has been renamed Stealth Walk. Similar to the scene in Kaya's bedroom, Kuro's claws have been edited to be further away from the Meowban brothers' faces. The Meowban brothers' injuries from Zoro have been censored. Kaya's pistol has been replaced with a slingshot similar to Usopp's. Here's another non-censor. 4Kids actually used the original Japanese word Santoru for Zoro's free sword style instead of translating it into English. Even the Funimation dub translates it to free sword style, so this is definitely an oddity when it comes to the 4Kids version.
The art of Santoyu is not like using just any 3 swords.
Carrying 3 swords won't help you at all. Unless you know 3 sword style.
Episode 15. The Usopp pirates' weapons have been changed from baseball bats and shovels to colourful cooking utensils. Luffy getting kicked in the face by Captain Kuro has been censored. In Captain Kuro's flashback, the impaled swords and the wounds on the marines that have been killed by Kuro have been censored. Episode 16. Kuro's head wound that he received from Luffy smashing a rock in his face has been censored. Captain Kuro's out of the bag special ability has been renamed to Cat Out of the Bag. The Black Cat pirates have had their wounds and tattoos censored in the fight between Luffy and Captain Kuro. While trying to help Kaya, the Usopp pirates ambush Django with Onion shoving Pepper in his face before running off. The 4Kids version still has Onion running out with the pepper shaker to attack Django, but the scene of him actually peppering Django has been removed, before he then runs away again while still mentioning the fact that he just attacked Django with a pepper attack.
I got him good with that pepper blinded powder!
In the Japanese, Kaya steals Django's ring blade, known as a chakram, and threatens to kill herself if Django doesn't let the Usopp pirates free. In the 4Kids version, they obviously had to remove the reference to suicide, so instead, Kaya steals the blade to use it against Django. But because she is inexperienced, the chakram blade seems to have a mind of its own, and the blade instead turns on Kaya in an attempt to hurt her, and she is now trying to pull it away from her neck.
Either you let them go, or I'll use your weapon against you! And don't think I'm bluffing!
Wait! The chakram is too powerful for an amateur to hold! It will turn on you!
After Kaya rights the wheel for Django, he pins her up against a tree while holding her around the neck. 4Kids censors this by removing Django's thumb to make it look like he's holding her up by the shoulder. Episode 17. This episode surprisingly only has one change made to it, with the Going Merry having been renamed to SS Merry Go.
I present to you the SS Merry Go, named after yours truly, but then of course I designed her.
Episode 18. The letters WB have been removed from Nami's shirt. Treasure Island has been renamed to Golden Island, quite likely for copyright reasons. Gaiman's pistol has been recoloured. This is actually the least censored gun we've seen so far. The text on the pirate's tattoo has been removed, despite it being on screen for such a short amount of time and is basically unreadable. Episode 19. The red mark seen on Zoro's face from being smacked by a bamboo sword has been censored. Kuwaina groping her breasts in front of Zoro was, you guessed it, removed. Kuwaina's death has been censored in the 4Kids version, changing her death from slipping in the storehouse to instead being beaten up and injured by a rival student that she had won against in a sword fight, and didn't like the fact that he was bested by a girl, which leads to her never being able to sword fight again. Due to Kuwaina not being dead, the scene of Zoro mourning her death in front of her tombstone was removed. Episode 20. The water on the title screen has once again been edited and replaced with a different animation. What's more baffling is that this arc is set around water, but at no other time will we see any further editing of the water animation. The opening wine bottle scene with full body has been removed. The stem of each wine glass has also been edited out. Wine bottles from the scenery and the colour of the wine have been censored. Johnny's bloody nose, along with Yosaku's injuries, have all been censored. 2 Marines have had their weapons censored, but a little later on you can see them both in the background with their original uncensored weapons. When looking at the wanted posters, the text stating "Dead or Alive" has been removed. Zeph's injuries from the cannonball impact are censored. Another well-known 4Kids change that you'll see in most top 10 videos is Sanji's cigarette, which has been changed to a red lollipop. This is quite a significant change due to Sanji's cigarette being a defining character trait, which means there were hundreds of edits 4Kids likely had to do over the course of dubbing One Piece. Full Body's injuries have been censored. Episode 21. Text from a mirror and the restaurant menu seen on the sign in the background have been removed. WC text located above the bathroom has also been removed. The colour of the wine has been recolored to green. Just before Gin enters the Baratie, a Marine flies through the door to warn everyone inside. The Marine is then shot and killed by Gin from behind. 4Kids censored this by badly animating Gin kicking the Marine in the back. Adding to the previous edit, the scenes showing Gin with a gun have been completely removed. The blood on Gin's face has been censored. Episode 22. Sanji kicking a chef in the face has been removed, and later in the episode, Don Craig shooting at the chefs has also been removed. Sanji hitting his head on the ground from Don Craig's attack and the resulting injuries have been censored. When the Baratie chefs surround Sanji to stop him from going to cook for Craig's crewmates, the swords and pans are redrawn further away from Sanji's neck. The colour of Don Craig's pistols have been recolored, yet none of his mounted weapons have had the same treatment. Episode 23. All the Baratie chefs have had their injuries censored. The word war has been removed from the back of this pirate's shirt. Don Craig shooting and killing one of his crewmates was removed from the 4Kids version. Episode 24. Yosaku's cigarette, like Sanji's, has been edited out. Mihawk's sword's handle was shortened to look less like a religious cross. They also edited his necklace in a similar fashion.
I won't forget it. I don't see your kind of courage every day. You have earned my respect, which is why I'll use this black sword to finish you off. I intended to use a smaller knife, but I must have left it at home.
Zoro's injuries received during the fight between Mihawk have been heavily censored, including removing Zoro getting stabbed in the chest. Text has again been removed from multiple pirate shirts and headbands. Episode 25. In this scene, and this scene only, both the text Baratie and restaurant were removed from the outside of the Baratie ship. No scene previous to this that showed the outside of the ship had the text removed, and the same can be said for the rest of the arc too. Don Craig killing another one of his crew members was again removed. Pearl's injuries that Sanji inflicted were censored. Despite the fact that any scene that included Gin using his pistol was censored or removed up until now, Gin is shown holding Zeph hostage with a pistol that 4Kids have shortened and recolored. More text has once again been removed from pirate shirts. Episode 26. Sanji being attacked by Pearl was toned down and his injuries censored. The legendary sea, known as the All Blue, where the 4 seas of the One Piece world supposedly meet, has been renamed the Great Blue. Luffy's Gum Gum Battle Axe has been renamed to just Gum Gum Axe. The plank of wood, revealing the to be continued end screen, has been removed from the end of the episode. Episode 27. The position of Gin's iron ball has been redrawn further away from Sanji's neck. Just as Gin is about to finish Sanji off, Sanji spits his cigarette at Gin, causing him to miss, and then kicks him in the head, injuring him. This scene was removed by 4Kids. Episode 28. Due to being heavily poisoned by Don Craig's missile attack, Gin starts to succumb to his poisoning and lunges back in agony, spewing blood. 4Kids must have considered this too dark for a kids show, as they changed the scene to instead have Sanji punch Gin, even added in a sound effect to make it more believable.
Hold it! This mask is yours! Gin! Huh?
Which doesn't really fit the context of the scene, as Gin just risked his life to save Sanji from being poisoned, and put Sanji in a bad light. Don Craig's poison bullets have been edited to look more like suction cups. Luffy's injuries have been censored by 4Kids. Episode 29. Gum Gum Giant Gavel has been renamed Gum Gum Giant Hammer. 4Kids removed Sanji punching Luffy while he is asleep. Episode 30. Cigarette packets have been edited out of the background in Sanji's bedroom. Patty and Kane's injuries have been censored. The text, Wine and Cheese, has been removed from the book in Zeph's office. Strangely, no other book was harmed by 4Kids. Episode 31. The fishman species has been renamed to mermen, with every fishman being called a merman instead. The short scene of Luffy showing his arse was cut from the 4Kids edit. Sanji's heart-shaped smoke clouds have been removed from the 4Kids version. Another non-censor is when Luffy holds up his drawing of Nami as a fishman. The hiragana for Nami's name wasn't censored. With how on point 4Kids have been with removing any English text, you would think they would easily catch any Japanese text, especially some as blatant as this. 4Kids censored Nami reaching into her bra to bring out her weapon. Johnny and Usopp hitting Zoro over the head with hammers has been moved off screen, with 4Kids just including the sound of the attack.
Let's go! Hey! What are you guys doing? Cut it out!
Zoro kicking Usopp in the face has been removed by 4Kids. Nojiko hitting Usopp on the head with a hammer has been censored. Episode 32. 4Kids removed the wine bottle sitting on the table in this scene, but in the next scene it reappears. The Doctor's red cross was also removed. Moomoo's injuries have been censored. Sanji's collier shoot move has been renamed Teriyaki Turnover Surprise. 4Kids cut down the number of scenes that shows Bellemere's grave, but the scenes that were shown had the tombstone changed from a wooden cross to a more modern concrete slab tombstone. 4Kids, however, forgot to censor the scene at the end of the episode which shows Nami sitting in front of the wooden cross. All scenes showing Bellemere smoking have been censored. Kokoyashi Village has been renamed to just Koko Village. Genzo's injuries have been censored. Episode 33. For a third time, the animation of the water during the title sequence has been replaced with a whole new water animation. Quite a few people have said this is due to 4Kids not being able to add their own title text on top of the water animation. I don't believe this to be the case, as I would assume that Toei sent them the raw animations, which didn't include the Japanese title text overlay, so 4Kids could add their own. To add to that, the title sequence of episode 4 also included animated water, as well as pouring rain. Yet 4Kids did not edit the scene and were still able to add their own text on top. I could be wrong though. Chu's hand has been edited to be covering the man's mouth instead of located around his neck. The injuries Arlong's crewmates received by Zoro have been censored. The scene of Kurobi waving a knife in front of Usopp's face has been removed. The dead body floating in the pool was removed in the 4Kids edit. We finally reached the infamous rubber knife scene. In the original, in order to save Usopp, Nami pretends to stab Usopp in the chest with her knife, but instead stabs her own hand, which convinces Arlong that Usopp is in fact dead. This is quite an impactful scene, and it isn't until a few episodes later that you find out for sure that Usopp is in fact still alive. 4Kids couldn't allow to keep the ambiguous nature of Usopp's supposed death intact. This caused 4Kids to change the scene to make it readily apparent that Usopp will actually survive the stabbing by having Nami state that she is going to use a rubber knife that Usopp apparently keeps with him to stab him with instead, which allows Usopp to escape.
Usopp, give me more smoke cover and let me have your rubber knife. Now!
This'll save my plan.
Knife's in this pouch.
Got the knife. Now follow my lead. Remember, it's your rubber knife.
Better be.
Now fall in the water.
Episode 34. The Tech-77 was removed from the Marine ship. During Chu's attack on the Marine ship, 4Kids replaced the pistols that some of the defending Marines are holding with swords. The injuries the Marines received are censored. Episode 35. The sign outside the bookstore has been changed from book to books. Inside the store, the book titles for every book has been removed. Other text removed includes Bellemere's shirt saying Mace, along with the sale, police and wanted posters being censored. The scene in which Genzo brings Nami back home after she was caught stealing a book, Bellemere offers to pay Genzo for the book with her body, while in the 4Kids version, Bellemere accuses Genzo of stealing her tangerines, which makes him square. 4Kids censored Nami getting bumped on the head. 4Kids censored another scene of Nami, this time with Nojiko, being bumped on the head. In the scene where Nami is complaining about getting hand-me-downs, she shouts at Nojiko, saying that they're not real sisters, and is then slapped by Bellemere. Nami then shouts at Bellemere that she isn't her mother and runs away. 4Kids changed the context of the scene by having Nami complaining about not wanting to go to bed, to which she then says Bellemere isn't her mother and runs away, like in the original. Nojiko and Nami arguing, along with Nami being slapped, was removed, and the scene was just cut down in general. More guns have been changed into water guns. Bellemere's injuries during the flashback have been censored. The flashback of Bellemere finding Nami and Nojiko was cut short, removing the part where Bellemere states that she's going to raise the two girls as her own. Episode 36. Bellemere's gun has been switched out for a shovel. Arlong crushing Bellemere's arm has been removed from the 4Kids edit. The scene of the doctor telling both Nami and Nojiko to leave the island was cut. Genzo firing at Arlong and then being sliced down was removed. The citizens also being injured were removed too. Bellemere's death has obviously been censored in the 4Kids version. Instead of being killed by Arlong in front of Nami, which said scene also has Arlong's pistol removed, 4Kids has Bellemere imprisoned in a dungeon for the rest of her days.
Now get up, you lousy human! How about a nice room in a dungeon for the rest of your days?
Even adding in extra scenes later of Bellemere wishing that Nami not be taken captive by Arlong.
Bring her with us. Her talent might come in handy.
Don't you dare lay a hand on my daughter, you beast!
Nojiko actually does state that Bellemere has passed on when she meets Usopp for the first time.
You'll find Nami's full of surprises. We were both orphans until our foster mother brought us here, Coco Village.
Huh?
Mom's passed now, and Nami and I went in two very different directions.
Wait!
Nami's injuries have been censored. Episode 37. Nezumi's rank is Colonel in the 4Kids version, instead of Captain like it is in the original. Nezumi's gun has been recolored to green and blue. Nojiko being shot in the arm was censored. The scene of Nami stabbing her Arlong tattoo over and over was censored. Episode 38. The added blur effect for the flashback is different in the 4Kids version. This I feel proves my earlier point of 4Kids having a copy of the raw animation in which they can add their own effects and title text over the top. Just a little side note, as I thought it was funny, they have Zoro make chicken noises.
They're all yours, I'll just watch.
Luffy having his hand bitten by Arlong and then Luffy biting Arlong in return were both censored. Episode 39. Let's get through these next 3 quickly. Sanji's injuries have been censored. Hachi's injuries have been censored. And finally, Zoro's injuries have been censored. Episode 40. Sanji being kicked in the head by Kurobi has been censored. Sanji having his stomach crushed by the water pressure from Kurobi diving to the lower depths of the sea was censored. Each of Sanji's kicks have been renamed, so instead of listing each one of them, I'm just going to play the clip.
Clavicle Schnitzel Kicker Up. You don't badmouth Nami, you stinking fish. Barbecue Rib Buster. Shish Kebab Back Smash. Out for my ultimate attack. Leg, a wham, drumstick, supreme!
I feel 4Kids shouldn't get much flack for these changes, as Funimation also failed to translate the name of each kick. Usopp's side arc of defeating Chu and becoming a brave warrior has been heavily cut down in the 4Kids version, such as cutting out Usopp pretending to die using ketchup, removing Chu's squirt cannon move and splicing scenes together to shorten the fight. Chu's squirt machine gun has been renamed to Spitfire Soaker. Usopp being punched in the face along with his injuries have been censored. Usopp repeatedly hammering Chu in the head at the end of the fight was removed. Episode 41. Zoro being stabbed by Arlong's nose was removed from the fight. The scene of Hachi's bloodied body falling in the ocean was removed. 4Kids cuts out Luffy slingshotting Zoro away from the fight, causing Zoro to disappear from the battle with no context. Luffy is grabbed around the waist instead of the neck by Arlong. Episode 42. Sanji imagining Luffy having a hole bitten in his stomach was removed. A scene of Arlong breaking a sword with his teeth was removed. Luffy having his elbow bitten by Arlong and in return Luffy elbowing Arlong into the ground was replaced by splicing scenes together to have Luffy just punch Arlong instead. Arlong's Shark Dart ability was renamed Shark and Oar. 4Kids censored Luffy smashing headfirst into the ground by splicing the attack with a future scene of Luffy falling after he used his Gum Gum Shield ability. This leads into 4Kids removed the scene of Luffy using Gum Gum Shield and Gum Gum Spear. Another scene was spliced together by removing Arlong swinging Luffy around and smashing him into the ground, replacing it with the Gum Gum Spear attack that was removed earlier. Both scenes end with Luffy in a pile of rubble. Episode 43. 4Kids removed Luffy having his neck between Arlong's sword. Luffy busting up Nami's old room along with all the flashbacks were cut from the episode. Arlong biting into Luffy's neck and in turn Luffy breaking Arlong's nose were also cut from the episode. Arlong's Shark on Tooth ability has been renamed Shark and Destroy. Zoro having a slab of brick fall onto his head was removed. A variety of different texts from the villagers' shirts were censored. Nezumi's injuries have been censored. Episode 44. Episode 44 was actually completely skipped in the 4Kids version of One Piece, with the next episode starting off with the Straw Hat crew having already set sail on the Going Merry. When it comes to situations like this, when an episode is skipped, I'm instead just going to list some of the notable events from the missing episode. I've picked out 4 notable events from episode 44. The celebration party has been skipped. Nami getting her pinwheel/tangerine tattoo has been skipped. Nami saying goodbye to Bellamy's grave along with her sister and her childhood home has been skipped. The Straw Hats setting sail for the Grand Line has been skipped. Episode 45. We have multiple instances of kanji being removed. The kanji for Navy on the entrance of the Marine base, the kanji for Justice on the back of the Marine coats, and the kanji for Chorboy on the back of Kobe's shirt have all been removed. Episode 45 is when Luffy receives his starting bounty of 30 million berries. The episode chooses to spend most of its time showing the reactions of various characters from the previous arcs. 4Kids removes the reaction scenes of Kaya, Zeph and the Fuchsia village citizens from the episode. This includes Mary bringing the wanted poster to Kaya, who points out the back of Usopp's head, Zeph who's looking off into the distance after having hung up Luffy's poster, and Luffy's hometown who are all celebrating apart from the mayor. This to me comes out as 4Kids downplaying the importance of Luffy's first bounty, considering it's the highest bounty in the East Blue at that moment. Fullbody re-encounters the Straw Hats while sailing around in a beat up marine ship and attempts to capture them before being defeated. 4Kids removed this sequence from the episode, skipping around 5 minutes of content. The scene where Mihawk brings Shanks the news of Luffy's new bounty is cut short in the 4Kids version. By instead of Mihawk and Shanks celebrating Luffy's new bounty, the scene cuts before the reveal that Shanks is on good terms with Mihawk, leaving it on a cliffhanger, implying they're about to fight.
Me lad, Luffy. Thank you for sharing, Mihawk. But you must know, I can't let you leave now.
Episode 46 and Episode 47. The 2 episode side story based on the Buggy Crew adventure cover story were both skipped by 4Kids, so again we'll go through some notable changes from each episode. Buggy lands on Treasure Island and meets Gaimon, who then helps Buggy build a raft in order to leave the island. Buggy is saved by Alvida after his raft is destroyed by a giant crab, and they both agree to join forces to defeat Luffy. Buggy reunites with his crew and heads to Logue Town. Episode 48. Logue Town has been renamed Rogue Town. A bunch more English text has been removed from a variety of different places throughout the episode. Captain Smoker has been renamed Captain Chaser.
I am Captain Chaser, and you, my friend, are under arrest.
With one of the biggest bounties ever.
They don't call me Chaser for nothing.
Smoker has had the 2 cigars he smokes censored, removing both from his mouth but leaving their smoke trails. They also have removed all his spare cigars from his coat. Smoker's Plume fruit has been renamed to Smoke fruit.
I'm sorry. Didn't I tell you? I have powers from the Smoke fruit.
Bar Gold Roger has been renamed to The Gold Roger. Gold D. Roger's execution was censored to remove showing the actual moment when he is stabbed by the guards. Episode 49. The guns that were hung up around the weapon store were removed from the scene where Zoro is looking to buy 2 new swords. The blood seen on the cursed sword during its exposition scene was censored. The weapon shop's owner's wife was changed to his mother in the 4Kids edit. Episode 50. Episode 50 was skipped by 4Kids. This is probably due to the episode prominently featuring guns throughout. There's only one notable change that came from this episode. Usopp receives his sniper goggles after winning in a challenge by shooting a weather vane rooster from a large distance. This causes Usopp to just suddenly have the sniper goggles in the 4Kids version, with no explanation given about how he got them. Episode 51. The headers from each article along with the name of the newspaper was censored. More kanji were removed from the episode as well. Episode 52. More guns have been replaced by water guns, with some guns being replaced by swords. The courtyard fountain being blown up by a buggy bomb as Buggy makes his way to the execution platform was removed from the 4Kids version. Alvida's smooth fruit has been renamed to slip fruit.
No, Luffy, I ate a cursed fruit and changed. See what I mean? Compliments of the slip fruit. It makes my skin super slippery.
As Buggy points his sword towards Luffy's head, the sword has been edited to be further away. The freeze frame of Buggy's sword, about to cut Luffy's neck, was removed, with 4Kids cutting away much earlier. Episode 53. Buggy punching one of his crewmates in the face was censored. Smoker's white-out ability has been renamed Smokescreen. Smoker's white blow ability has been renamed Smoke Strike. Beast Tame Emoji's subplot of trying to burn down the Going Merry was completely cut out of the 4Kids version, with 4Kids even painting him out of some scenes. The 4Kids version of Smoker outright states Dragon's name multiple times when he arrives to save Luffy from being captured, which had the 4Kids version continued may have created a plot hole with why Luffy did not divulge Dragon's name as the guy who saved him to the rest of the crew after they escaped from Logue Town.
I wouldn't be so sure if I were you. It's you! Dragon! One of the most wanted men in the world! What are you doing here?
Sanji and Nami are both aware of who Dragon is, so the reveal of Dragon being the head of the Revolutionary Army would have likely have came much sooner had Luffy revealed Dragon's name to them. Episode 54 to Episode 61. 4Kids decide to skip the Warship Island Arc completely, which consisted of episodes 54 to episode 60, along with the first half of episode 61. This is around 2.5 hours of content that was removed from their version, which left many people puzzled on their decision to do so. The arc is one of the more kid-friendly arcs in the series, and the only things fans can point to as a possibility for the arc's removal was the death of the dragon Ryu, which happens towards the end of the arc. Although I feel 4Kids could have easily have worked around this by editing the scene. Due to this arc being a filler arc, we won't be listing notable changes, as nothing within the arc will affect the rest of the series in any way. If anything, 4Kids actually avoided potential future plot holes for themselves, as the arc features Zoro cutting steel before he's actually able to do so during the Arabasta Arc, along with the Straw Hats meeting dragons for the first time, which in the manga canon they wouldn't meet a dragon until they encounter the artificial dragons during the Punk Hazard Arc. Episode 62 and Episode 63. 4Kids jump straight into the action this episode by completely skipping the Reverse Mountain story arc, which spans episodes 62 and 63. This cuts around 35 minutes of content and some vital plot points which we'll go through now. Laboon is completely missing from the 4Kids version of One Piece as the Straw Hats enter the Grand Line. In their way instead is a massive iceberg which was created by drawing over shots of Laboon, along with cutting in scenes of the iceberg they encounter in episode 64 when making their way to Whisky Peak.
Nami, did you hear that noise?
Huh? Say what?
Did you hear a strange sound?
It's probably just the wind. Remember, we're still at a high altitude.
What's that?
Nami, there's a mountain up ahead.
No way!
Okay, I was wrong. It's one of two things. It's either an iceberg or a giant helping of baked Alaska.
But take a look at that iceberg. If you don't turn now, we'll hit it.
This ocean is out of control.
So much for that iceberg!
As every fan of One Piece likely knows, this would have severely impacted later story arcs of the series, such as in Thriller Bark, where Laboon is a major part of Brook's backstory, along with one of the driving factors for why Brook joins the Straw Hats crew, so that Brook is eventually able to sail back round the Grand Line to reunite with Laboon. Luckily for 4Kids, they never actually made it to Thriller Bark before losing the One Piece license to Funimation. Crocus has also been removed, as the Straw Hats never enter Laboon or make a stop at the lighthouse, and instead sail straight through to Whisky Peak. Although he is a minor character, Crocus is still significant within the overall story, as he is later revealed to be a member of Gold D. Roger's crew. Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday have been cut from the Reverse Mountain Arc, meaning their attempt at killing Laboon and eventual capture by the Straw Hats are missing in the 4Kids version, making their first appearance in the Whisky Peak Arc instead. The log post has been renamed to the Grand Compass. The way the Straw Hats obtain the log post has been heavily altered in the 4Kids version. The Straw Hats originally obtained the log post from Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday dropping it as they flee from the Going Merry, with Crocus being the one who explains how the log post works. With Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday being removed from the Arc, 4Kids have the Straw Hats find the log post before they even enter the Grand Line, by having the compass fall out of Usopp's pocket, which Usopp then reveals that his father, Yasopp, gave it to his mother to give to him, and he's been carrying the compass around the entire time they've been on their voyage.
Hey, what's that?
It's a compass!
But not just any compass.
Nami's right. It's the Grand Compass. Dad gave it to Mom to give to me. I know our Usopp will become a great pirate one day, and with that compass, his future will be up to fate. Fate will determine whether or not he ever learns what it's for.
Sanji then also reveals that Zeph told him about the log post back before he left the Baratie, to which Zeph is then given an exposition scene explaining how the log post works.
I think I know how to use it, Zolo. Before I left, Chef Zeph told me all this stuff about the Grand Line.
Remember this. In order to sail the Grand Line, you'll need a compass and the secrets from my logbook. All the islands in the Grand Line are magnetically charged, so let the compass be your guide.
It's played off by having Nami ask why they never mentioned all this before, but then it's quickly brushed off by the crew. Episode 64. Whisky Peak has been renamed Misty Peak. Various scene elements have been altered. Characters dressed as nuns have been redrawn, welcome signs have been censored, the text mood has been removed from Nami's shirt, and guns have once again been recolored or removed. The celebration scene has also been altered. All references to a drinking contest has been replaced with a pie eating contest, and Nami blushing from being drunk was removed as well. The scene showing the cactus hills filled with graves has been removed. Episode 65. The text on the sign for the graveyard has been removed, along with the standard edits of guns and wine being recolored. The scene with a group of bounty hunters surrounding and firing at Zoro only to end up killing one another by mistake was removed. The scene of a nun and child attempting to trick Zoro with blinding powder only to be knocked out was removed. Zoro being punched in the face with brass knuckles and the injury to go with it has been censored. Her grip on Zoro has also been altered slightly to be more around his mouth than his neck. Karoo being bonked on the head by Vivi was removed. Mr. Nine's hot-blooded bats of guts technique was renamed to hot-blooded 9 energy bat. Vivi's blade has been edited to be further away from Luffy's stomach. Blood splurting from Igaram's chest has been censored. Episode 66. Mr. Five's nose fancy cannon technique has been renamed Bomb Bogey. Mr. 9 shaking his ass has been removed. Mr. 9, Mr. 5 and Igaram's injuries have all been censored. Luffy going for a leak has been removed. A close-up showing Zoro holding a sword to Vivi's neck has been removed, while a scene shortly after has also been edited to show Zoro's sword further to the right, away from her neck. The fight between Zoro and Luffy has some minor censors throughout, such as the cut on Luffy's face and Zoro being punched in the stomach. Their injuries resulting from the fight were also censored. Episode 67. The text Baroque was removed from the flag behind Crocodile. Nami punching both Zoro and Luffy in the face, ending their fight, has been censored, with her second set of punches being removed completely. The Eternal Post has been renamed the Eternal Compass. The explosion that destroys Igaram's ship has been toned down by cutting and censoring parts of the scene. Vivi biting her lip, causing her to bleed, was censored. Nico Robin's alias, Miss All Sunday, was renamed to just Miss Sunday.
So you're Straw Hat, huh? Heard a lot about you, Monkey D. Luffy. You've been running around like Chicken Little. I thought I'd help. I felt sorry for a little princess who'd take on all of Baroque works. What should I call you? A spoiled brat?
The pistol Sanji points at Nico Robin has been replaced with a sword. The text, Nani Monaishima, seen on the Eternal Post, was removed, along with the dialogue being changed to express the post is pointing towards Alabasta instead.
The Eternal Compass. Here, with my compliments.
Is it real?
That'll take you directly to Alabasta. Then, you're home free, 'cause Baroque Works knows a different route, and they won't follow you.
The giant turtle, known as Bunchy, that Nico Robin uses for transportation, has had his cigarette censored. Some dialogue has been altered to explain away some of the future changes 4Kids will be making to the series. After the Eternal Post was destroyed by Luffy, the Straw Hat crew originally make their way to Little Garden by following their log posts instead. In the 4Kids version, just after Nico Robin leaves the Straw Hat's ship, Vivi reveals that she has had a second Eternal Post that points towards Alabasta the whole time.
I'm sorry. I should have told you. Igaram gave me a second Eternal Compass.
That's great, Vivi. Then we're all set.
I knew that.
This allows the 4Kids version to completely skip Little Garden and make their way straight to Alabasta. Episode 68 and Episode 69. Like with the Buggy Crew Adventure cover story, the Helmeppo Kobe mini arc was also completely skipped by 4Kids for unknown reasons. There are two notable developments skipped in these episodes. Captain Morgan escapes marine capture. By showing their bravery during Morgan's escape, Kobe and Helmeppo are transferred to Vice Admiral Garp's ship to train and serve under him. This becomes significant when Luffy and Kobe cross paths later in the series. 4Kids would have needed to account for this later had they dubbed past the Post-Arabasta filler arc. Episode 70 to 77. The Little Garden arc is another arc that 4Kids decided to completely cut from their version. Fans have speculated that the reason being was due to the increase in violence, along with Nami, for a short period of time, having no top on and can be seen in her bra. Just like with the Reverse Mountain arc, the non-inclusion of Little Garden would have later caused several plot holes had the 4Kids version continued, which we will go through now. Mr. Free's debut is completely removed, with him only showing up when we're well into the Alabasta arc, and his role in the story has been reduced to more of a joke character that gets on Crocodile's nerves. Miss Goldenweek's debut has also been removed, causing her to never be seen in the 4Kids version of One Piece, as she makes her only appearance in the anime during this arc. Following from Mr. Free and Miss Goldenweek, Dory and Broggy have also had their debut in the series removed, and therefore are never mentioned by the Straw Hats, along with any mention of the island Elbaf, where Dory and Broggy lived, being removed as well. Usopp gets some significant character growth during this arc, with him solidifying his desire to become a brave warrior of the sea and stating he wishes to visit Elbaf someday. With this plotline's removal, 4Kids would have created a plot hole for themselves, as Usopp's knowledge of Elbaf and his friendship with Dory and Broggy played an important role in allowing the Straw Hats to successfully continue their siege on Anise Lobby. The true method in which the Straw Hats acquired an eternal post to Arabasta is through Sanji defeating the Unluckies, who had arrived on the island to check in on Mr. Free. As stated earlier, the 4Kids version claimed that Vivi just had an eternal post to Arabasta on her the entire time. Nami is bitten by a prehistoric bug, which later causes her to become severely ill throughout the majority of the next arc. This is explained away in the 4Kids version as a generic fever known as the Grand Line Fever.
This must be the Grand Line Fever. It's well known here. It happens a lot.
Episode 78. The scene of Zoro weight trading on the Going Merry was removed. The text saying Alabasta on the log pose has been removed. The kanji text on the back of Mr. 2's overcoat that reads Bon Clay has been removed. 4Kids makes the baffling decision to remove Vivi's right arm, which is seen holding the log post. This coincides with a change of dialogue to explain that Zoro has the log post instead.
Sure, not a problem. Zolo has the compass. He'll keep us on course.
I feel this edit only happened because they had already recorded the voiceover for this scene, so had to make this change to match the voiceover. I don't see any other reason for it, as it has no effect on the episode to do this otherwise. Episode 79. The text reading Smoker and Marine seen on Smoker's ship were removed. Also, the standard fare of guns changing their colour have made an appearance again too. During the scene when the Going Merry is boarded by Wapple's men, all instances of guns firing were removed, along with the scene showing the soldiers flying away after being attacked by Zoro. Sanji being fired at by the island residents as they attempt to land on Drum Island was removed. Episode 80. The text DKP was removed from Zoro's winter coat. A scene of Vivi's gunshot wound has been removed. Luffy and Usopp building a snowman and Snowzilla were cut in the 4Kids edit. Dr. Kureha's favourite food has been changed from pickled plums to prunes. All of the Christmas undertones surrounding this arc have been removed from the 4Kids version, including the scene showing Dr. Kureha and Chopper flying across the sky in a sleigh, which is reminiscent of Santa Claus. The initial encounter of the Lapins attacking Luffy, Sanji and Nami has been cut, removing around 1 minute of content from the episode. During a conversation with Dalton, Vivi mentions that she first met Walpole at a Monarch meeting. 4Kids changed the line to instead have Vivi state she met him at a meeting called the League of the Kings.
When I was little, my father took me to a meeting. League of the Kings. That's where I met him.
Had the 4Kids dub continued, they would have likely continued to use this name for what would become known as the Leverly in the Japanese version. Episode 81. The text Firestall has been removed from one man's apron. AXC was removed from another man's beanie hat, and lastly, the symbol on the repairman's back has been removed. Sanji's flanchette shoot move has been renamed Gut Stuffer. As Wapple lands back on Drum Island, his men can be seen taking out the villagers who tried to defend the island. This scene has been removed from the 4Kids version. The wounded civilian who warns Dalton of Wapple's return has had his injuries censored. Episode 82. Some more guns have been changed to green or edited. A small non-censor that 4Kids must have missed was the hiragana text on the bottom right hand corner of the village sign. Wapple's injuries from Dalton were censored. Scenes showing Dalton with 3 arrows piercing his chest after being shot by Chess were removed. The scene showing the baby Lapin with bloodied paws attempting to dig out their mother from the snow had some scenes removed and the rest censored. Episode 83. As Vivi is searching for Usopp in the snow, his nose can be seen sticking out of the snow after a landslide. In the 4Kids version, his nose has instead been replaced by his goggles. The injuries Wapol and his crew inflict on the group of Lapins have been toned down. During Luffy's climb up the cliff to the castle, his hands and feet are seen bleeding quite heavily and sustain severe damage. This has obviously been completely censored in the 4Kids version, removing any signs of blood or injury. The label on this medicine bottle has been censored, along with more scenes of guns being changed or removed. Episode 84. Dr. Kureha's nickname has been changed from Dr. Reen to Dr. K. The wine bottle has had the text removed and its colour changed from green to brown. Some book labels have also been censored. When Nami wakes up after being treated by Dr. Kureha, she tries to leave to continue on to Alabasta, but is pinned down by Kureha, who puts a scalpel to her neck. 4Kids censored the scene by removing the scalpel from Dr. Kureha's hand. A scene of Chopper washing a batch of bloody bandages were censored by removing the blood. Both Sanji's and Luffy's injuries have been censored. More scenes of the arrows sticking out of Dalton's chest have again been removed in the 4Kids dub. In the Japanese version, Chopper attempts to join the humans only to be fired upon with guns and is wounded as he runs away. In the 4Kids version, he is only seen having a rock thrown at his head before running away, with everything else being cut from the scene. Episode 85. Chopper has 2 different voice actors in the 4Kids version, depending on what form he is in, with Lisa Ortiz voice acting Chopper's Brainpoint form.
Really? So pirates have adventures? Me? A friend?
And a pirate, too!
Who says I want to be a stinking pirate anyway? And who says I want to have friends?
And Brian Millard voice acting for his Heavy Point form.
Yeah, that's me. So don't tick me off. That flag stands for Dr. H's dreams. It stays there.
In the Japanese version, he keeps the same voice no matter what form he is currently in. Chopper's injuries from a gunshot wound after being chased has been censored. Dr. Hiruluk's tranquilizer gun has been changed to a green colour with a horn-like end added to the muzzle. Dr. Hiruluk's injuries received from Chopper's beating has been censored. A scene of Dr. Hiruluk stripping naked to try and convince Chopper he is not a threat, with only his briefcase to cover his private area, has been completely removed from the 4Kids version. The injuries Chopper inflicts on himself after Dr. Hiruluk kicks him out of his home was censored, along with censoring the bullet wound from Dr. Hiruluk shooting at Chopper, which grazes his cheek, causing him to bleed. An incredibly subtle edit was made when Dr. Hiruluk fires his gun, with 4Kids removing the actual bullet from the animation, leaving only the muzzle flash left. Any scene of Dr. Hiruluk coughing up blood into his hands due to his terminal illness was removed. The mention of the terminal illness itself, however, has not been censored. Episode 86. Chopper's nosebleed has been censored. A small scene of Chopper picking out books was removed, with Hiruluk's book titles and various wine bottles also having the text on them removed. The scar seen on one of the reindeer's head has been censored. The ensuing fight between the reindeer and Chopper has also had some scenes removed, along with their injuries such as the blood also being censored. As Dr. Hiruluk runs towards the castle, he is seen carrying 2 bombs and detonating them on some of Wapol's soldiers. 4Kids removed the bombs from his hands, having him hold his briefcase instead. Dr. Kureha punching Chopper in the face has been censored by removing the impact frames and Chopper's injuries. The scene of Dr. Hiruluk sitting in front of Warple's castle as he drinks another one of his failed experiments, causing an explosion so that his cause of death is not from Chopper's poison soup, has been edited in the 4Kids version, stripping it of all context and removing the scene of the explosion, leaving Hiruluk's death more ambiguous in the 4Kids version than in the Japanese.
Don't worry, Chopper. The mushroom didn't do me in. Chopper! Follow your heart!
Oh, he did himself in! Saved me the bullets!
Sanji, stubbing out his cigarette, was censored by freezing the animation just before showing the cigarette bud. Episode 87. 4Kids censored Luffy punching Wapple in the face by moving Luffy's arm so it would look like Luffy is instead headbutting Wapple in the stomach. Wapple's injuries have been censored. During the scene where Sanji has afros stuck all over his body, Chess shoots a fire arrow at Sanji, setting one of the afros alight. 4Kids removed this scene, only showing Chess readying his bow before being attacked by Chopper. Sanji's Arme de la Air Gummel Shoot ability has been renamed Taffy Trounce. Episode 88. Chopper's injuries have been censored. Pretty much all of Chopper's abilities have been renamed in some manner, starting with his transformations, which have all had the suffix point swapped out in favour of boost. Chopper's jumping point is now called Jumping Boost, guard point has been renamed Guard Boost, and so on, with arm point now Arm Boost, brain point is Brain Boost, heavy point is Heavy Boost, and horn point is Horn Boost. Walk point is the only one to not have just the suffix part changed, by now being called Sprint Boost. Moving on to Chopper's attack abilities, Hoofprint Roseo has been renamed Reindeer Roundhouse, and Chopper's ability Scope has been renamed Rumble Scope. Chess Marimo's Snow Splitting Blade ability has been renamed Snow Slicing Blade. Chess Marimo's Omnidirectional Snow Splitter ability has been renamed Multidirectional Snow Splitter. 4Kids adds in a 2-minute expositional interlude into the episode, fully explaining Chopper's backstory and his devil fruit transformations, which they called the Deer Tales.
Puzzled about Tony Chopper? Wondering what he can do and how he can do it? Here are the Deer Tales. Chopper started out as a regular reindeer, but when he accidentally ate the human cursed fruit, he became part man, part beast, with the ability to transform from one end of the spectrum to the other in 3 different forms. His full beast mode, also called Sprint Boost, allows him to take full advantage of being a reindeer. Chopper's half-man, half-beast mode is also called Brain Boost. This is the form in which we see him most often. Chopper's full-on human form is actually, in some ways, his most beastly. It's called his Heavy Boost mode because he morphs into a gargantuan size, most often to fight villains who behave, well, like beasts. You'll see in future episodes how this becomes a critical factor. And now it's time to morph back into our story.
Another non-censor, Zoro has had its dialogue changed by 4Kids to make chicken noises again.
And why shouldn't I be? Did you get a look at the size of those rabbits, Zolo?
Episode 89. A scene zooming in on Nami's breasts has been removed. Wapple pointing a gun at Dalton's neck has been censored to have it point at Dalton's chest instead. Dalton's injuries have also been censored. Wapple's Munch Munch Shock ability has been renamed Munch Munch Mutation. As Dalton and the rest of the Straw Hats are making their way to the castle, Dalton reveals that he is carrying dynamite with him. This was completely censored in the 4Kids version, and instead Dalton is just holding a sword. Luffy's Gum Gum Bowgun ability has been renamed Gum Gum Crossbow.
No! Gum Gum Crossbow!
More guns have been edited. You can also see one person was able to loot a rare blue drop instead of the common greens we've seen people normally have equipped in the 4Kids version. Episode 90. Sanji, being semi-tortured and tied up by Dr. Kureha, was censored by removing the parts showing Sanji's silhouette on the wall, as well as being tied up to the hospital bed. The short scene showing Dr. Hiriluk's grave has been removed. A flashback scene showing Dr. Kureha teaching Chopper medicine was removed. Episode 91. King Cobra has been renamed to King Nebra.
Arabasta's Royal Highness, King Nebra!
Number 379. One of the world leaders has had his cigarette removed from his mouth. Wapol slapping Vivi as a child was censored, removing the scene showing the impact frames of Wapol's hand swiping Vivi. Vivi's injuries have also been censored. Porticus D. Ace's name has been renamed to Porticus D. Trace.
Hey, wait up! You didn't tell us your name, sir!
Details. Just tell him my name's Trace. If that doesn't get his attention, then nothing will.
The Will of D has had its name changed to Gold D Spirit.
So Gold D Spirit still lives on, Straw Hat.
The yellow indicator marks showing that Luffy is missing were removed from the scene where a giant bird attacks the Going Merry. Luffy's Gum Gum Propeller ability has been renamed Gum Gum Twister. Miss Doublefinger has been renamed Miss New Year's Eve. The text Golden on Miss Golden Week's shirt has been removed. Miss Merry Christmas has been renamed Miss Groundhog Day. Mr. Five's gun that he holds in his lineup picture has been removed. Bon Clay's hand has been moved further up the pirate's mouth instead of strangling him around the neck while he inquires about why they didn't encounter Mr. Free. Episode 92. As Crocodile encounters a band of pirates, he is shown being stabbed in the chest by multiple swords. This was censored in the 4Kids version by removing a short scene of the sword stabbing Crocodile, as well as this wide shot completely removing the pirates who have their swords lodged in his back. The panning shot showing all the pirates dead and buried under Crocodile's sand was removed. The 3 X's on Vivi's shirt were removed. The burp cloud that Luffy makes as Sanji is accusing him of eating all the remaining food was removed. This causes the clouds in the background to jump forward. Luffy bumping his head into the Going Merry after Sanji kicks him was removed. Sanji's smoked love hearts were removed. The red markings on Usopp's, Chopper's and Karoo's faces when they are smashed together by Sanji have been censored. While Bon Clay is showing off his clone fruit, he flashes the Straw Hats while transformed as Nami and is punched by Nami for doing so. 4Kids removes the scene of Bon Clay showing off Nami's body, but leaves in the part of Nami punching him still, making Nami seem a tad overly aggressive for little to no reason. Episode 93. The orange speech markings Nami makes when shouting at Luffy to get back on the ship were removed. Sanji has been removed from the scene where Usopp has the bright idea of hiding under a blanket while walking through the city. This makes very little sense as Chopper has been left untouched and Sanji can still be seen leaning against a pillar as the crew exits from the blanket once they have made their way through the crowd. No dialogue changes have been made either that would explain Sanji's absence. The red mark made by Nami flicking Vivi's head was removed. They also edited Vivi's hand so it is no longer covering her forehead during the close-up shot. This is despite the scene both before and after showing Vivi holding her hand to her head, making little reason for this change to have happened. The dance powder hoarder that attacks Luffy has had his injuries censored. Dance powder has been renamed to Boogie powder. Knowing 4Kids, probably because it's green. Luffy hitting the dance powder guy on the head was removed. The scene showing a close-up of Nami's boobs has been removed. both Nami's and Vivi's crop tops have also been edited to be made less revealing. Episode 94. Ace has had his iconic ASCE tattoo removed. The Tex Spice Bean has been removed from the entrance of the shop. More guns have again been changed to water guns. Smoker's White Snake ability has been renamed Smoke Snake. We have another non-censor. 4Kids actually gives the more accurate name for Ace's fruit, calling it the Flare Flare fruit instead of the Flame Flame fruit like in the Funimation dub.
Hey, Trace!
Yours truly. Hey, Luffy. What's up?
It's you! Awesome! Did you eat a cursed fruit?
A Flare Flare fruit.
The A, seen on Ace's belt buckle, has been removed. Episode 95. Ace's nickname has been changed from Fire Fist Ace to Trace Heat Fist.
Whoa, that's Trace Heat Fist.
Smoker's White Spark ability has been renamed to Smoke Spark. 4Kids used a different close-up of Smoker for this dialogue scene. This was probably done so they could save time not having to censor the cigars. 4Kids added a fire effect around Ace's hand during the scene where he grabs hold of a Baroque work member's sword. This is to cover up Ace holding the sword between his fingers. Ace's Fire Fist ability has been renamed to Heat Fist. The Marine ship has had the text Marine on the side of the ship changed to Navy, but later the text has been completely removed. More guns have been changed to green as well. Episode 96. Crocodile's cigar has been removed. Usopp's injuries from being beaten up by the Kung Fu Dugons were censored. Episode 97. The camel's injuries received from Luffy, Sanji and Usopp have been censored. Episode 98. Luffy's Gum Gum Give Me Water ability has been renamed to Gum Gum Thirsty. The Desert Bandits leader's injuries have been censored, along with more guns changed to green. Episode 99. The text Boo has been removed from the fake rebel's back. A wine bottle has also been removed from the scene. Luffy punching the fake rebel leader in the face was censored by removing the close-up of Luffy's fist hitting his face. The rebel leader's injuries were censored as well. Luffy being punched in the face by the fake rebel leader was censored by removing a small amount of blood and the close-up of Luffy's face. Episode 100. Koza being bopped on the head by his father was removed. Toto has been renamed to Tutu.
They call you Tutu, correct? Yes!
Cobra hitting Igaram on the head was censored, removing the smack sound and cutting the frames of the impact. His injuries have also been censored. All of the Sansan Band children have had their injuries censored. As Koza and the Sansan Band are fighting Vivi's kidnappers, Koza is slashed in the face by one of the kidnappers. This has been censored in the 4Kids dub, along with Koza's other injuries and the kidnappers' injuries too. Episode 101. A scene showing bottles strewn all over the floor, along with this guy's pipe, were either removed or censored. The text has also been removed from the sign above the house. The scene of a kid pointing a gun at Ace was removed. The speech marks coming from the top of the mountain were removed. Episode 102. The scene of Luffy and Zoro punching each other in the face was censored by removing the close-up shots. Chopper's medicine bottle has had the text Potion D removed from the label. Zoro holding his sword to Luffy's neck after being flung by Luffy into a rock was removed. When Luffy and Zoro fall into a cave and stumble upon a poneglyph, 4Kids used this as an opportunity to foreshadow how they would use sweat instead of blood to have Luffy defeat Crocodile. They did this by having 4Kids Luffy look a lot sweatier than in the original. Dialogue has also been altered to have Luffy complain about how hot it is in the cave.
I read all about this in a book. I wonder what they mean.
It's so hot down here, I'm sweating more than I was outside.
No fresh air. What do you say we look around and see what else is down here, eh, Captain?
No, too hot!
Which is in direct contrast to the Japanese version, where he is actually complaining that he doesn't want to leave the cave because it is nice and cool.
前に本かなんかで見たことある。大昔の文字だこれ。どうでもいいじゃんそんなの。それよかさ、涼しいなここ。気持ちいい。
今しなきゃならねえことはとっととここを出ること。そうだろ船長。
あ、そうか？涼しいのに。
いいから早く立てよ。
やだやだ。もう少しここにいようぜ。外出ると暑いんだもんよ。
The lump from Zoro punching Luffy on the top of his head was censored. Episode 103. The sign reading close on the Spider's cafe door has been changed to closed. Miss Merry Christmas has had her Christmas tree tie changed from green to purple. Mr. One has had the kanji symbol for 1 removed from his chest. Miss Doublefinger's breasts have been censored by removing her cleavage line. Text has been removed from the coffee jars. Crocodile's cigar has again been removed. A scene showing Toto throwing barrels at the Straw Hats for asking about the rebels was removed. 4Kids removed the shimmer in Vivi's eye that represents her welling up and about to cry. Episode 104. The red marks across Zoro's, Chopper's and Vivi's faces from having a pillow thrown in their face by Usopp were censored. Nami's blue cross-popping vein on her head has been removed from the scene. The text casino has been removed from the sign on top of the entrance. Miss Doublefinger's smoke pipe was removed from her hands but can later be seen uncensored in a different scene shortly after. Due to the Little Garden arc being removed, Mr. Free's appearance in the anime has been altered. Mr. 2 was still ordered to terminate Mr. Free, although we are not given a reason as to why right away. Mr. Free's character and appearance at the Rain Base secret meeting is used for telling bad jokes instead.
Burning candles without me, the wax wonder?
Huh?
Good evening, ladies and germs. Just flew in, I did, yes sir. And boy, are my arms tired. Now, try this one. How do you find a rabbit who's lost? You make a noise just like a carrot.
You can't tell a joke to save your life.
What's black and white and red all over? A skunk with diaper rash. Why did the chicken cross...
Enough. Just file your report.
Crocodile, you know that it's raining cats and dogs? I just stepped in a really big poodle.
It is later explained that Crocodile sent Mr. Free to get rid of the Straw Hats, and Mr. Free says that he set a trap in Nanohana, but the Straw Hats spotted his ship and they didn't fall into his trap.
Look, Free! What of Straw Hat's crew? I ordered you to do away with them and Princess Vivi when they left Rogue Town.
In Nanohana, I set a trap, but then they spotted me and went undercover. I did my best, sir. No joke.
This all happened presumably off screen, as Mr. Free never encounters the Straw Hats at Nanohana, with the Straw Hats only seeing Mr. Free's ship docked before walking through the desert. Crocodile's hand has been moved from Mr. Free's neck and placed to the right hand side of Mr. Free instead. Luffy punching Vivi in the face has been removed by using a cutaway. Vivi punching and slapping Luffy while he's on the ground was also removed. Episode 105. In the 4Kids version, a short scene of Vivi crying has been removed. Luffy's Gum Gum No Way ability has been renamed Gum Gum Keep Away. The Sand Cafe sign has been painted over on the wide shots of the cafe, but the sign is still present in the close-ups. A sign saying Golden Slots and other such signs have been removed from Crocodile's casino and nearby areas. Smoker's beer, along with another 3 jugs, have been changed to water, and the kanji symbol for water has been removed from the bartender's top. During the scene where King Cobra reads Vivi's message sent by Karoo, Cobra hands one of the pieces of paper to Pale to read. In the 4Kids version, they show a scene of Pale handing back the piece of paper by reversing the shot of the initial scene of Cobra giving him the paper. However, later, Pale is again seen holding the piece of paper in his hands. Vivi's letter has been shortened, leaving out Vivi talking about how the Straw Hats will help save Alabasta. The blood effect transition seen in the original version has been removed from the 4Kids dub. In the scene where Usopp whacks Luffy on the head for not listening, the 4Kids version has Usopp's arm edited out of the scene and the punch impact removed. A scene of Sanji reacting to Zoro making a snarky response has been removed. A cigarette has been removed from the ashtray in front of Smoker. And now, for the obligatory change, more guns have been changed to water guns. Smoker's White Vine ability has been renamed Smokestack. A scene of Sanji smoking has been removed. Despite Rain Dinners keeping its name in the 4Kids dub, the sign on the top of the entrance has still been removed. Episode 106. Another rare blue drop has been spotted along with other guns changed to green. The text BW has been removed from the Baroque Work members' back. The wine bottle and glasses on the table were also removed. All references to gambling in Crocodile's casino has been removed, including close-ups of casino games, casino chips, and currency amounts on notes. Security guards being smashed into slot machines by Luffy was removed from the 4Kids version. Nico Robin has had an undershirt added to the majority of the scenes that show her cleavage. In others, her cleavage line has just been censored instead. A scene of a pirate collapsing to the floor with blood coming from his nose was removed. A number of edits have been made during the altercation between Vivi and several Baroque Work members. Vivi, being hit on the back of the head by a handle of a gun, has had the impact frames removed. The barrel of the gun was censored by lowering the barrel further down the screen as to not have the gun pointing directly at the camera. 4Kids also removed the gun completely in the point of view shot. Pale's Devil Fruit has been renamed from Bird Fruit model Falcon to Tweet Fruit. However, Pale also calls it Feather Fruit Falcon type in the 4Kids dub as well.
My power is from a special cursed fruit! It's from the Falcon type of feathered fruit! He ate the Tweet Fruit!
Pale's Flying Talons ability has been renamed Flying Claws. Robin's Treads Fleur's ability has been renamed Freeze Fillet. Robin's Cesse Fleur ability has been renamed Six Fillet. Side note, Robin's fruit is actually called the Hana fruit in the 4Kids version instead of the English translation of the flower fruit found in the Funimation dub, making the 4Kids version a more literal translation.
You ate a cursed fruit! Which one?
Yes, the sweet Hana fruit. My body parts bloom like flowers. I'm a bouquet.
4Kids edits in a lollipop into Luffy's hand in a scene where he is mimicking Sanji smoking. Episode 107. Blood splatter has been censored. Guns have been changed to green. Not a change, but I thought I'd just add in this funny scene from the 4Kids edit about boogie powder.
Boogie powder is not allowed by any government, anywhere, anytime. If you boogie-woogie with the boogie powder, then your boogie days are over.
Meaning?
Meaning no one can ever find out I boogie-woogied.
The impact frames of the fake King Cobra kicking a kid in the face was removed, and the kid's injuries have also been censored. As Koza is confronting the fake King Cobra, he is shot in the shoulder by an imposter royal guard. This was changed in the 4Kids version by having the guard shoot fire arrows at Koza instead, with the gunman and other guards being removed from the scene as well. Koza's injuries and the wounds of the dead soldiers have been censored. Episode 108. Luffy's orange speech marks have been removed from the scene where the banana gator swallows the key. Side note, 4Kids gives Nami a line of dialogue saying, "Worse than a merman," keeping up her hatred towards mermen, unlike in the Japanese version.
Worse than a merman!
When Crocodile explains that he was the one making the sandstorms hit Yuba, a flashback is shown of Toto telling Luffy that he'll keep digging for as long as it takes. This was removed in the 4Kids version. Vivi's Peacock String Slasher attack has been renamed to just String Slasher. Vivi, dripping blood, along with her injuries have all been censored. More orange speech marks, this time made by Usopp, were censored. The slot machine handle has been removed from the scene of Sanji playing slots. The borders between each of the slot machine reels have been removed as well. The Baroque Work members' injuries have been censored. More casino signs have also been removed. Episode 109. In the previous 4Kids episode, being number 76 in the 4Kids run, 4Kids pulls forward the flashback scene from the beginning of this episode, which showed Sanji firing a gun and tripping a Baroque Work member to steal his transponder snail. 4Kids used this scene to have the Baroque Work member introduce Sanji to Crocodile.
Yes?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Don't mean to interrupt, but there's this man here.
While in the original, it was to trick Crocodile into thinking Sanji had been caught, to lure Crocodile out of Rain Base.
もしもし捕まえました。この妙な男どうしましょう
In episode 77 of the 4Kids airing, 4Kids reuses the scene again of the Baroque Work member talking on the transponder snail. However, they edit the scene, replacing the Baroque Work member with Chopper's face and body, although leaving the guy's hand unedited.
Hello there, boss. I just caught the dude who stole the phone from one of my men. What should I do with him?
Your location, and quick!
Well, rain dinners, the front gate of that fancy schmancy resort. We'll wait right here.
The Baroque Work member is still seen with Sanji and Chopper in the 4Kids version, and still gets knocked out, just with his injuries being censored. Narratively, this makes zero difference to the plot, so I'm at a loss for why so much effort was put into moving around and editing these scenes, maybe other than to give Chopper more screen time. More guns have been changed to green and scenery signage removed, although it is not consistent throughout the episode. Sanji's anti-manners kick course technique has been renamed Frog Leg Kick. A scene of Sanji holding his cigarette in the air and breathing out smoke has been removed. When Mr. Free escapes the Banana Gator, Luffy recognises who he is. This is despite Luffy having never met Mr. Free in the 4Kids continuity.
Yeah, my wax ball. It saved me.
Whoa, it's him.
Yeah, right! 3!
Crocodile's cigar has been removed. Mr. Free sustaining injuries from Sanji was removed and replaced with Mr. Free telling a joke instead.
What fruit is a key going potty? A kiwi.
Episode 110. Casino signs have been removed and guns changed to water guns. A short scene of the Straw Hats running through alleyways were removed. The moving crab has been renamed Crab Mover. Crocodile's cigar has again been removed from another scene. Crocodile's Desert Spada ability has been renamed Desert Dagger. Crocodile's Sable's ability has been renamed Sandstorm. Blood dripping from Crocodile's hook was removed. In the 4Kids version, Luffy has been hung by Crocodile's hook instead of being stabbed through the chest. Episode 111. Crocodile's hook has been edited out of the scene, so it only looks like Crocodile is holding Luffy up instead of having stabbed him. All close-ups of Luffy being stabbed by Crocodile's hook and blood dripping were removed. Luffy's stab wound and the blood on his clothing have been censored. Another scene of Sanji smoking, while also gesturing with his hands, has been cut short and censored. Guns have been changed to water guns. The black frames in between the Straw Hat's reaction shots have been removed. A yellow flashing icon on the top of the crab's head has been removed. The camel's nickname has been changed from Lashes to Eyelash. Blood has again been censored from the scenes of Luffy's head stuck in the sand, and again after Robin helps him escape. Pell's injuries have been censored. A shot of Nico Robin's waist as she walks towards the camera was removed in the 4Kids edit. Cobra's injuries, along with the gag in his mouth, have been removed. A short map sequence showing all the players in battle, their locations and where they are heading was removed from the 4Kids version. Episode 112. We have found our third rare blue drop of the series. Will we ever see an epic purple gun in the 4Kids dub? The guy on the right has also had his sword edited, so he is holding the sword by its handle instead of the sheath. The text, BBR, was removed from the Duck Squadron's flask. The black cross popping vein on Miss Merry Christmas has been removed. Usopp's Fire Star attack has been renamed Flaming Star. Bon Clay, having blood shoot from his nose, has been censored. Scenes with blood in them during the attack on Alabama has either been censored or removed. Usopp's, Lashes and Karoo's injuries have been censored. Episode 113. Believe me or not, but more guns have been changed to green. Bon Clay's Okama Kenpo style has been renamed to Crazy Karate. Karoo's flashback scenes of growing up with Vivi and also being on the Going Merry ship were removed from the 4Kids version. The trail of smoke coming from Chopper's body, along with his injuries, have been censored. The Mole Mole fruit has been renamed to the Diggy Diggy fruit.
They're hiding underground, Usopp, because Miss Groundhog Day has the power of the Diggy Diggy fruit.
Oh, that's just great!
The smoke coming from Usopp's mouth was censored. The cliffhanger ending to this episode, where we see a baseball exploding onto Usopp, has been cut out of the 4Kids ending. Episode 114. The majority of Miss Merry Christmas's abilities have had their name changed to go with her new 4Kids Miss Groundhog Day naming and theme, with 4Kids also overusing the woodchuck rhyme.
Now it's your turn! How much ground can a groundhog hog if a groundhog's ground up good?
Wood?
Where?
Wood?
Where?
Wood?
Where?
What?
Where?
Wood?
Where?
What?
Where?
Wood?
Where?
Wood?
Where?
Wood? Looks like Usopp's gone.
Starting with her ability, Mole Digging Technique, Molish, being renamed to Woodchuck Swimming Stealth Style. Miss Merry Christmas's Mole Banana Attack has been renamed Woodchuck Banana. Miss Merry Christmas's attack on Usopp has been censored by removing the blood. Usopp spitting blood and his injuries have been censored. 4Kids creates another interlude similar to the Deer Tales in the Drum Island Arc, this time explaining about the 3 different devil fruit categories, which last around 2 minutes.
Wondering about the characters that morph between people and animals? How about everyone with all those strange and fantastic powers? Get ready for our supernatural guide to One Piece! In the world of One Piece, there are 3 types of creatures other than your average people and animals. Let's start with Zoans. Zoans are creatures who are able to transform between animals and humans because they've eaten some type of cursed fruit. The second set of superhuman creatures belongs to a category called Logia. People who qualify as Logia are those who ate a cursed fruit and gain powers that come from nature. The Logia are the most powerful of all 3 categories of creatures. Last but not least, because this is the category to which Luffy belongs, are the Paramythia. Paramythia are people who ate a cursed fruit and then are able to transform their bodies in some truly fantastic way. Remember, the power of all these creatures comes with a price. Anyone who eats a cursed fruit is no longer able to swim. And as Luffy found out early on, sometimes you can't win if you don't swim.
Miss Merry Christmas's Molehill Highway ability has been renamed Woodchuck Highway. Miss Merry Christmas's Mole Mole Impact ability has been renamed Woodchuck Wallbanger. Episode 115. Usopp gritting his teeth and in doing so drawing blood was removed from the 4Kids version. Miss Merry Christmas's Molehill Intersection No. 4 ability has been renamed Woodchuck Batter Blaster. The scene of Usopp's skull cracking was removed. A close-up of Usopp flying in the air after being hit has been removed. Usopp's injuries were censored as well. Miss Merry Christmas getting her teeth smashed in by Mr. 4 was removed by 4Kids. Usopp's Uso-Cho Hammer Comet Special Attack has been renamed Usopp Hammer Shooting Star. Koza slicing a soldier down with his sword was removed in the 4Kids version. Sanji dropping his cigarette and the blood coming from Bon Clay's mouth as they kick each other in the face were removed. Bon Clay's Shaking Swan Dance, or Degenerate Swan Dance Recital as it is known in the Funimation dub, has been renamed Smiling Swan Soiree in the 4Kids edit. Bon Clay's Swan Arabesque attack has been renamed Swan Dive. The impact frames of Sanji kicking Bon Clay in the face while he's cloned as Usopp were removed. Episode 116. In the title card, 4Kids removed Sanji and Bon Clay due to it showing Bon Clay stepping on Sanji's head. A scene of Bon Clay tantalizing Sanji with Nami's breasts by semi-exposing them was removed. Sanji being sliced by Bon Clay's Mascara Boomerang attack with blood splurting out was censored. The close-up shot of Zoro's sword connecting with Mr. 1's blade arms was removed. Miss Doublefinger's dialogue has been slightly altered, changing Zoro's backstory. In the Japanese version, she explains that Zoro declined an invite to join Baroque Works several years ago and cut down Mr. 7 in the process.
それと数年前、イーストブルーでバロックワークス社の勧誘を蹴り、当時のミスターセブンを切った海賊狩りってのも。
The 4Kids version, alternatively, has her explain how Zoro refused their invitation while he was in Whisky Peak.
You remember Misty Peak, don't you? Where you refused our invitation to join our exclusive club? Where you took out poor Mr. 9? Ring any bells?
Some resume.
With Mr. 7 not being mentioned at all. The pink icon indicating Nami's disappearance has been removed. Bon Clay's Memories of That Summer Day ability has been renamed Spinning Summer Pirouette. Sanji's cross-popping veins, along with Sanji's injuries, have been censored. Bon Clay's Memories of That Winter Sky ability has been renamed Winter Wonderland Chete. A short scene of Sanji lighting a cigarette was removed. Sanji kicking Bon Clay in the back has been cut short, with his injuries also being censored. Sanji has again had a bunch of his attacks renamed, this time during the fight between him and Bon Clay. Barse Coat was renamed Shoulder Shank Crank, Long changed to Hip Hip Paris, Tendron to Tenderloin Lash, Kusei to Butterloin Break, Q to Rump Roast Wrecker, Kuaso to Turkey Tenderizer, and Ver Shoot to Prime Cut Kick Surprise.
Set! Shoulder Shake Crank! Hip Hip Hooray! Tenderloin Lash! Gut Sucker! Tenderloin Lash! Tenderloin Sucker! Turkey Tenderizer! Gut Sucker! Turkey Tenderizer! Turkey Down! Prime Cut Kick Surprise!
In the 4Kids version, Sanji's kick to Bon Clay's neck has been repositioned to his chest area. Bon Clay and Sanji spitting out saliva was censored. Bon Clay's Bombardier Arabesque attack has been renamed Swan Bombardier Dive. Sanji lighting up another cigarette was removed. Sanji kicking Bon Clay in the head to end the fight was removed. Episode 117. 4Kids shorten Nami's flashback where she gets Usopp to build a weapon for her, cutting out all the scenes that include Luffy, Chopper or Zoro from the flashback. Nami being punctured by Miss Doublefinger has been censored by not showing her finger pierce through Nami's shoulder. Her injuries were also censored. Nami's climb attack weapon has been renamed Weather Forcer.
Then I won't tell you!
The Weather Forcer! Sometimes it brings a light drizzle. Or a storm!
2 scenes of Nami strangling a dove were removed. Nami's attack names have had the suffix tempo replaced with tempest. In this episode, Nami uses the party moves Fine Tempo, Cloudy Tempo, and Thunder Tempo, which have been renamed to Fine Tempest, Cloudy Tempest, and Thunder Tempest respectively. We will talk about her other attacks when we get to them. A close-up of Nami narrowly avoiding Miss Doublefinger's attack, which slices her cheek, drawing blood, was removed. A short scene of Nami removing the top half of her robe shows a close-up of Nami's chest area before cutting away. This has obviously been removed in the 4Kids version. A similar scene to the previous change happens a short while later, with Nami ripping the bottom half of her robe, exposing her thighs. Another close-up of her chest area as she's pulling her necklace off was also removed in the same shot. Miss Doublefinger's sewing stinger ability has been renamed Stiletto Stinger. Some more climb attack names have been changed again. This time the Heat, Cool and Thunderballs have had the ball suffix renamed to Orbs, now being named Heat, Cool and Thunder Orbs respectively. Nami being stabbed in the calf was censored by removing Miss Doublefinger's stinger from the scene. Nami's climb attack has been changed in this scene, editing out one of the segments of the weapon that incidentally made the weapon look like a cross. This change was likely done to reduce religious connotations within the show. Nami's battle uses for her climb attack have also had the suffix tempo switched to tempest. In this episode, Cyclone Tempo has been renamed Cyclone Tempest, and Mirage Tempo is renamed to Mirage Tempest. Nami's Mirage being stabbed in the head, neck and chest has been censored by having the stingers narrowly miss her and pierce the wall beside her. The metal nails used to hold Cobra to the wall have been replaced by metal clamps. His injuries have been censored as well. Crocodile lighting his cigar has been removed. Episode 118. Crocodile's cigar has been removed. Cobra's injuries have also been censored. A short scene showing Pluton's explosive power was cut short from the 4Kids version. An illustration of the town square being blown up by Crocodile's bomb was also removed from the 4Kids dub. More of Nami's climb attacks have had the tempo suffix changed, with Tornado Tempo now Tornado Tempest and Rain Tempo Rain Tempest. A close-up shot showing Miss Doublefinger's breast armor turned into needle points was removed. Miss Doublefinger stabbing herself with her pointers, causing her arm to grow bigger, has been removed. Miss Doublefinger's Spike Doping ability has been renamed Spike-Puncher. Miss Doublefinger's Stinger Flail ability has been renamed Stinger Rampage. Nami's bruises and other injuries have been censored. Nami's Thunderbolt Tempo technique has been renamed slightly different from all her other attacks, now being named Cloud Zapper. Another close-up, this time showing Miss Doublefinger being shocked, has been removed. Nami being stabbed by Miss Doublefinger's spikes before it being revealed as another Mirage was removed. An extra scene was actually added in the 4Kids version. A filler scene of Mr. One and Zoro fighting using recycled scenes with new dialogue, presumably to split up the action between the Zoro fight and Nami fight, instead of the Nami fight being one continuous battle.
Hey, Mr. One, tell me something. When Crocodile trained you, did he say sit, heel, and roll over?
Your attitude's the pits.
Cherry, peach, or apricot?
Nami piercing her foot through one of Miss Doublefinger's stingers was censored, cutting away before showing Nami's foot actually being pierced through, along with the close-ups and panning shots as well. Extra spikes were also added to cover up Nami's foot in other scenes that weren't outright removed. A close-up of the Tornado Tempo wrapping itself around Miss Doublefinger's leg was removed. A shot showing Miss Doublefinger knocked out was removed. Nami's victory screen against Miss Doublefinger was removed from the 4Kids edit. I would also like to retroactively add a similar change that was previously missed from episode 115. that being Usopp's and Chopper's victory screen, which had also been removed when winning against Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas. Another funny Zoro scene, this time instead of chicken noises, Zoro is heard whooping like a dog.
So tell me, does he give you nice doggy biscuits when he wants you to play fetch?
And you, all bark, no bite.
Woof, woof, woof.
You're not funny.
Zoro's free sword style, ball needle technique, has been renamed Triple Sword Force Ball Charge. Mr. One's spider ability has been renamed Iron Guard, which is kinda counterintuitive to his whole character theme, considering Mr. One's body is meant to take on the characteristics of a steel blade. Episode 119. Mr. One, almost being stabbed by Zoro's sword, has been censored, removing Zoro's blade from the shot so it's not shown near Mr. One's face. Another non-censor, 4Kids has a filler dialogue line for Zoro that mentions the size of Mr. One's neck and includes Zoro thinking if Mr. One is on steroids.
Looks like my best shot is gonna need a booster shot. Whoa, look at the size of his neck. Is he made of steel or steroids?
This line about drugs isn't included in the original version and is another odd addition to the 4Kids dub. Zoro's flashback scene, showing him as a kid asking his sensei if the legends of a swordsman cut in steel is true, with his sensei explaining to him what real swordsmanship is about, has been removed, cutting about 1 minute and 30 seconds of content from the episode. Zoro's injuries have been censored. Mr. One's Atomic Spar ability has been renamed Atomic Dice. Mr. One's Spiral Hollow ability has been renamed Buzzsaws. The blood seen spilling out of Zoro after being hit by Mr. One's Spiral Hollow ability has been censored. Mr. One licking Zoro's blood off his hand has been removed. Mr. One's Spar Break ability has been renamed Tower Crusher. A close-up of Zoro with his blood spraying everywhere was removed in the 4Kids edit. A second flashback of Zoro and his sensei talking, explaining how one can cut nothing, along with various fight scenes Zoro has been involved in, was shortened to instead only include the fight between Zoro and Mihawk, cutting around 50 seconds of content. Mr. One's Atomic Spurt ability has been renamed Atomic Dash. Blood gushing out of Mr. One, along with his other injuries, have been censored. Zoro's windscreen against Mr. One has been removed from the 4Kids edit. Episode 120. A sequence of shots showing the Kicking Claw Force walking around destroyed Arabasta villages has been removed. Weapons have been changed to green. The Kicking Claw Force Ultimate Fates have been slightly altered in the 4Kids dub. Instead of dying after 5 minutes from drinking the hero water, the water actually just saps them of all their energy, so they won't even be able to lift a finger for the rest of their lives.
Ah! That fatal fuel you drank? It's about to sap you of all your strength. For the rest of your lives, you won't even be able to lift a finger!
Chaka's Dog Fruit model Jackal has been renamed Mutt Fruit Jackal Strike.
Mutt Fruit! Jackal Strike!
A small flashback showing Usopp complaining about being paired up with Lashes has been removed, saving around 30 seconds. A floating love heart coming from Sanji along with a yellow twinkle was removed from this scene. Various scene transitions have been removed from the episode. Koza being shot by a disguised Baroque Works member has been censored, removing the impact shots and the bullet wounds. Episode 121. Koza's injuries have been censored. More guns have been changed to green, and various small scenes have also been removed for brevity during the fight scenes between the rebels and the guards, such as removing a scene of a Baroque Work member disguised as a rebel being sliced down. In the original Japanese version, Crocodile can be seen holding Vivi by her neck. This has been edited in the 4Kids dub to have Crocodile holding her by her robe instead. Crocodile's injuries have been censored. Episode 122. The Baroque Work members' injuries have been censored, guns have been changed to water guns, although 4Kids misses one gun in this scene, leaving it uncensored in its original form. Luffy's Gum Gum Shotgun ability has been renamed Gum Gum Quake. Luffy's Water Luffy form has been renamed Bubble Belly.
Bubble Belly, that's me! Oh no! A leak!
Crocodile spitting out blood was censored. 4Kids censored the scene of Cobra having the 2 spikes he was impaled with in the Japanese version removed from his shoulders. Crocodile's Ground Sekko ability has been renamed Wasteland Tremor. Luffy's Water Water Pistol has been renamed Water Water Blast.
Water, water, blast!
Crocodile's Ground Death ability has been renamed Wasteland Cataclysm. Nico Robin's Trienta Fleur's Strangle ability has been renamed 30 Fleurs. Nico Robin's Wanted poster has had the text Dead or Alive and Marine removed. The sword Nico Robin points towards Tashigi's neck has been positioned further away in the 4Kids edit. Similar to what happened with Vivi in the last episode, Crocodile grabs Luffy by his t-shirt instead of his neck like in the original version, with a mid-shot of the encounter being removed. Episode 123. The flashback of Nico Robin breaking Tashigi's leg was shortened to lessen the impact, along with Nico Robin's hands being moved further away from Tashigi's neck. Tashigi's injuries have also been censored. Various guns have been removed from the scene of the Marines on the floor, despite those same guns not being removed in the establishing shot. Luffy bleeding from his stomach was removed in the 4Kids dub. The close-up of Nico Robin being stabbed through the chest by Crocodile's hook has been removed. The blood splatter and her injuries have also been censored. Vivi's knee injury has been censored. Usopp's Red Serpent Star technique has been renamed Unstoppable Red Snake Star. Episode 124. Usopp's Usopp Noise attack has been renamed Chalkboard Nail Scratch. The scene of Luffy talking about giving Vivi's country back with the accompanying flashbacks was shortened, going from around 1 minute 35 seconds to just 10 seconds. Crocodile being punched in the face by Luffy and sent flying has been changed in the 4Kids edit to having Luffy punching him in the chest instead. Crocodile's injuries were also censored. The reasoning behind how Luffy can hit Crocodile without water has been altered. In the Japanese version, Luffy uses his blood instead of water, which allows him to punch Crocodile. In the 4Kids version, however, it is explained that because Luffy is underground, his rubber skin can't breathe, causing him to constantly sweat a lot.
Without fresh air, my rubber skin can't breathe.
So what? Like I care!
When I'm underground, the heat makes me sweat a lot.
So what?
Sweat's just as wet as water. And it keeps you from turning to sand.
This also means any blood seen on Luffy has been changed to look like sweat, and 4Kids even adds extra droplets of sweat on Luffy's face in various scenes. Guns have been changed to water guns. A short flashback scene of Tashigi talking with Smoker and Smoker telling her to follow her sense of justice was removed, cutting around 15 seconds of runtime. A rebel being shot by a gun with blood splattering was censored, instead fading to black before returning to the rebel on the floor. This frame of Pell being shot has been censored, removing the feathers that fall from his body along with his injuries also being censored. Crocodile spitting out blood from being kicked in the face by Luffy was censored, removing the blood. Episode 125. Guns have been changed to water guns. The text Baroque I Love Miss Valentine was removed from the back of the Baroque Work member's jacket, and various injuries of the rebels and royal guards have been censored. The lit matchstick was censored from this scene of Mr. Seven's face. In the 4Kids dub, this panning shot of Crocodile has been edited to keep Crocodile's mouth closed, allowing Luffy to speak.
Wrong all! Since there's no breeze, I'm sweating like a hog.
While in the original, it's actually Crocodile that is speaking in the scene.
わからねえのか。お前はもう死ぬんだよ。
Mr. 7 lighting the fuse has been shortened to only show the ignition spark in the 4Kids dub. Nami's Weather Forecast Typhoon ability has been renamed Weather Forcer Typhoon. Blood spraying from Zoro's chest after being shot by Mr. 7 and Miss Father's Day was censored. The still images with a red background that counts down each second until the cannon is set to be fired has been removed in the 4Kids dub. Chopper landed on the Marine's head, causing them both to have bumps on their heads, was removed. Crocodile's cigar was censored. Pell slapping Kid Vivi during the flashback was removed from the 4Kids dub. Episode 126. People being blown away by the cannon blast was removed. Guns have been changed to green, although another gun has gone uncensored. It seems like 4Kids in the final stretch has started to slip a little in the editing. A short voiceover of Smoker telling Tashigi to watch what Alabasta becomes was removed. Luffy's and Crocodile's red marks seen on their faces and bodies have been censored. Crocodile spitting up blood after being punched in the stomach and kicked in the head by Luffy was censored, although for one frame in the 4Kids version, blood can still be seen. Crocodile's Sable's Pesado ability has been left unnamed, just being called Sandstorm again in the 4Kids dub, which was already the name for Crocodile Sable's ability. Vivi scraping her fingers across the ground, causing them to bleed, was removed. Koza's injuries have again been censored. Episode 127. Guns have been changed to green or water guns, although again some guns have been left uncensored. The Tex Marine has been removed from both the side of the ship and the transponder sail. The flashback of the kid who was supposedly beaten up by Cobra, showing Mr. 2 transforming back to his original face, was removed. A scene pulling back from Vivi and Cobra to reveal Sanji lighting a cigarette before speaking was cut short, along with censoring a scene later on showing the same cigarette falling out of Sanji's mouth, removing the cigarette outright. Crocodile's injuries have been censored. Just wanted to include another funny scene related to boogie powder, this time coming from Tashigi.
Tough noogie, that boogie won't ever woogie again.
Smoker's nickname, White Hunter, has been renamed to Lionhearted.
Listen to the purring pussycat. What happened to the great pirate hunter? They used to call you the Lionhearted.
Toto's voice actor was tasked with the voiceover for this section, talking about the rain, instead of having the OnePiece narrator doing the voiceover, like in the original Japanese.
After years of suffering, let's give thanks for the rain! Glorious, wet, dripping rain! For all the people of Alabasta, young and old alike!
Smoker's face, changing art style at the end of the episode, was removed from the 4Kids version. Episode 128. The kanji on the green mug has been removed. The text AKD has been removed from this box, along with the text coffee being removed from the can. 2 instances of Luffy having yellow shock icons over his head has been removed. 4Kids adds a montage style original song named Cook It Up on top of the Straw Hats eating tons of food at the dinner table to recover their health.
Try to cook it right to a balanced delight. Hold that spatula proudly.
They have the manners of pigs. They're like monkeys on a banana boat, but the monkeys have more class.
So why don't you show me what you got? Sizzle them skillets loudly.
Oh, that was my crab you just gobbled down.
Don't burp!
Don't eat so quickly, you'll chuck it all up.
We have more.
Check this one out. My salsa stars.
I'm actually impressed with 4Kids in going this far as to produce their own song for such an inconsequential moment, and surprisingly, they don't censor any of the food as well, even the jelly-filled donuts. 4Kids removes all the freeze frames of each of the Straw Hats and other main Alabasta characters from the dinner scene. Luffy and Usopp have been given towels to cover up their exposed arses in the bathhouse scene, with the scene of Luffy and Usopp under a waterfall being removed completely. The scene of Nami exposing herself to the peeking group of boys has obviously been removed from the 4Kids version. Instead, they have Cobra attempting to make a speech before being cut off by the others, who explain that he would put Luffy to sleep.
We are gathered here.
No speeches!
You don't want to hear my grand speech?
Not really!
I had it all planned.
We don't mean to bust your balloon. Speeches put Luffy to sleep.
All right, I won't put the scrappy little lad to sleep.
This uses the scenes from when Cobra thanks the Straw Hats for saving his country. In the parts that 4Kids do show Nami and Vivi in the bathhouse, they have been given bathing suits to hide most of their bodies. The Straw Hats bounties have had the dead or alive text removed. However, this time, the marine text has been replaced with Navy. This itself is also inconsistent, as it appears on Zoro's bounty, but not Luffy's. However, in a later scene, 4Kids has actually included the text Navy on Luffy's bounty. When Django and Fullbody take over a ship, the dance music that normally plays has been changed from Folder 5's Ready to what I am assuming is a 4Kids original that Django names the Pirate Dance or Pirate Shuffle.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3.
Remember the pirate dance! Move it, groove, yeah!
And dance!
You'll never have enough until you grab your navy duffel and you do the pirate shuffle, yeah!
Also, during the scene, the defeated pirates' injuries on the ship have been censored, along with one pirate that looks to be hanging from a rope or spear being removed completely. The kanji on Hina's back has been removed. A very small edit, but 4Kids actually has Hina keep looking over towards Fullbody and Django as they walk up to her, instead of the original having her look away. I wonder what the significance of this edit is that made 4Kids think it was necessary. Karoo, blowing what I assume are bubbles to indicate he is sleeping, has been edited out of the scene in the bedroom. 4Kids redrew or likely reused a map that explains Straw Hat's escape route out of Arabasta. It also shows Vivi where she should meet them if she wants to join their crew. In my opinion, this map is actually an improvement and provides more clarity than the Japanese version. Episode 129. Vivi's gun has been changed to green. Hina's name, located on the top sail of her ship, has been removed, and the text Marine has been replaced by Navy on the bottom sail. Other Navy ships have had the marine text completely removed. Hina's cigarette, along with her cleavage line, have been censored. The text Arabi, which is likely meant to spell out Arabasta on the transponder snail, has been censored. A dreamlike sequence of Vivi and the Straw Hats together was removed in the 4Kids dub. Instead of Vivi having a flashback showing how her and the Straw Hats put X's on their arms to symbolise their friendship, the 4Kids version of Luffy just outright shouts it to Vivi, which could potentially get her in trouble with the Navy.
Luffy, don't forget our secret sign! I won't.
Episode 130. The text Marine has again been removed from the side of the ship and the transponder snail. Guns have been changed to water guns, Hina's cigarette has again been censored, and finally, a low-res version of Luffy's wanted poster has had the dead or alive text removed from it. The scene of Chaka visiting Pell's grave and placing flowers down was removed, along with a few scenes of the Straw Hats ship being attacked, and Vivi watching the Straw Hats leave from a distance. This cuts out about 1 minute's worth of content from the episode. A short sequence showing a montage of the different characters the Straw Hats have met along their journey and how they're doing now, accompanied by the first ending credit song, Memories, was removed completely in the 4Kids dub. For some reason, this one scene has been reversed by 4Kids. The red cross on top of this building and the kanji on this box and sign were censored. 4Kids have included their own compilation of the main story events of Arabasta, fitted to a 4Kids original song called You Can't Turn the Tide.
You can rock the boat, but you sure can't turn the tide. There's a rhythm to the way I move, and it's something I can't hide. And there ain't no way of blocking me. Too much at stake. If you try to stop other side is like treasure you can't find. Go ahead and try to corner me. You will never change my mind now. And no matter what you do or say, I'm gonna leave you way behind. So you might as well give up. You see, I ain't giving up this ride. You can't turn the side now. You can't turn the side.
This lasts for just over 1 minute. Pell, visiting his own grave at the end of the episode, has been removed. Episode 131 to 134. The Post-Arabasta Arc comprises of 5 filler episodes, each centering around an individual Straw Hat exploring more about their characters. However, 4Kids decided to skip 4 out of the 5 episodes, skipping Chopper's, Nami's, Sanji's and Usopp's episodes, and leaving only Zoro's filler episode to be dubbed. We can only speculate as to why, but I feel 4Kids probably understood that Zoro was a fan favourite and an episode centering around him would rate well with their audience. We will be listing the changes made to episode 135 and any future filler arcs 4Kids do in fact dub, as they did take the time to dub the episodes, so we might as well check them out. Episode 135. 4Kids actually adds extra footage to the beginning of this episode, reusing scenes from episode 130 to have Nico Robin, Nami and Usopp talking about how Zoro got mixed up with a bunch of pirates like themselves. In particular is Nami explaining that Johnny and Yosaku were the ones that told her this story, way back when they were fighting Arlong, setting up the story to introduce the Zoro filler episode.
Well, according to Johnny and Yosaku, there's a lot more to Mr. Sleepy than that. They spilled the beans to me back when we were fighting the mermen.
The text Sapo 10, SCP, and W Brothers, as well as other scribbled text, have been removed from various signs. WB Row has been removed from the top exterior of the bar. And finally, the kanji on top of the unknown bounty hunter's helmet and on top of the blacksmith's bandana have been removed. 3 wine bottles have been removed from this bar scene, but can be seen uncensored 30 seconds later in the episode. The kanji text has been removed from the back of Johnny's cape and the front of his red shirt. The blood gushing from the pirate's chest, as well as his other injuries, have been censored. Dick the Bandit has been renamed Wicked Dick the Bandit.
Don't you people know you can't hide anywhere from Wicked Dick?
What'll we do? They're stealing everything we own!
Just be glad you're here and they're there. There's nothing any of us can do against somebody like Wicked Dick.
Because reasons. Bounties have had the Dead or Alive text removed and Marine text replaced with Navy. The kid known as Harry being slapped in the face, kicked, and then stomped on by Dick was removed in the 4Kids dub. Zoro's flashbacks to when he fights Kueno as a child has been altered, cutting out the section showing Zoro vowing to be the world's strongest swordsman. Johnny's and Yosaku's injuries have been censored. The kid Harry, again being kicked, instead this time by Dick's crew, was removed. Dick's injuries have been censored. The Roman numeral for 5 on the Rainbow Mist book that Nico Robin is reading has been censored, although the rest of the text is left intact. This will continue with the other Rainbow Mist books that Nico Robin reads, with 4Kids reducing the volume count from 10 to 2 in their version. Episode 136 to 138. After the Post-Arabasta filler arcs, we now enter what is known as the Sky Island saga. The saga begins with the Goat Island filler arc, which 4Kids, similar to their previous filler arcs, have decided to skip entirely. Why 4Kids skip the majority of One Piece filler arcs is unknown, and continues to baffle me, but for the sake of our video, we will not be listing any notable changes, due to the arc's irrelevance to the main One Piece story. Episode 139. We now enter the Logue Island Arc, also known as the Rainbow Mist Arc, which starts with 4Kids cutting the beginning sequence to this episode, which shows the Straw Hats attempting to escape marine capture, removing around 45 seconds of content and instead starting right as the marine is banging on Major Pasqua's door. There's no real reason 4Kids needed to skip this, other than maybe making extra time for the ad breaks. The mark left behind on the marine's head after being flicked in the head by Pasqua was censored. Freeze frames showing Nico Robin's, Luffy's and Zoro's bounty amounts have been removed. 4Kids cuts this scene short just before revealing the tower on Logue Island. The island guard, who attempts to make the Straw Hats pay a docking fee, had his arms redrawn to be placed by his side, and the gun in his hand being removed entirely from the scene. However, in a scene literally 3 seconds later, he can now be seen holding said gun, but the gun has been recolored into a rare blue drop instead. The 2 wine bottles behind Henzo and Usopp and other wine bottles from the scene on the ship have been removed. The text Fuwa has been removed from the bakery sign. Another Rainbow Mist book, this time volume 8, has had the numeral censored. Usopp's yellow flashing shock icon has been censored. Lake's electric suit has been renamed Voltage Vest. A scene of Nami, Chopper and Sanji wondering where the Going Merry has gone and concluding it must be at the harbour was removed. Ape's concert, a ship graveyard, has been renamed Wrecker's Reef. Episode 140. Luffy's yellow flashing icon has been censored. Again, the Rainbow Mist volumes 1 and 2 in this episode have had the numerals from their front covers censored. The arrow that was shot by Paku and caught by Nico Robin's arm, which was connected to Luffy, was censored, moving it further away from Luffy's face. Usopp's special attack Fire Star technique has been renamed Hot Salsa Star. Rongo kicking Usopp in the nuts has been removed in the 4Kids dub. Henzo having a sword waved in his face by Isoka was removed. Luffy's Gum Gum I'm Home ability has been renamed Gum Gum Catapult. The Kaboom Mark III bomb has been renamed Flash Bomb 3.0. A small non-censor is that the Pumpkin Pirates discuss exploring different parts of the world around a campfire. Rongo mentions hearing about the Grand Line being awesome. This is funny as their island should already be within the Grand Line itself.
Oh, he'd come around. I'm just gonna tell him I want to explore really cool places I've never been to before.
I heard the Grand Line's awesome.
Oh, yeah. We can go there and then sail all around the world and have great big adventures.
The bottle Wetten is holding has been removed from his hand, and guns in the episode have been changed to green. The blood spray coming from Wetten after being flipped by Rapa Nui, along with his injuries, were censored. Lake being donked on the head by his grandpa's cane has been censored, instead having Lake being hit on his upper back area. Episode 141. In the title card, 4Kids seems to have removed the black flag and the pole that holds it from this ship. I would hazard a guess that it's due to somewhat looking like a cross, although later in another scene that uses the same animation, it has not been censored. At the beginning of the episode, Zoro is seen polishing his sword with an uchiko, or polishing powder in English. 4Kids changed the colour from white to red, which now represents Sanji's lollipop, with Zoro trying to find out what Sanji is always slurping on.
Zoro! What's all that noise?
Sanji's lollipop. I want to find out what he's always slurping on.
Sanji's not gonna like that!
Then don't tell him.
Also, I'd like to know how Zoro even got Sanji's lollipop, considering he's in the Rainbow Mist and Sanji is outside, with Sanji still being shown sucking on his lollipop in his scenes. Robin's Une Fleur's ability has been renamed One Fleurette. The text Marine has been censored from the side of the ship. Rongo crying after coming to the realization that his mum and dad are likely dead due to having 50 years passing outside of the Rainbow Mist was removed from the 4Kids dub. These 2 wine bottles have been replaced with a jug of water, and the colour of the contents in Ian's mug changed to water as well. The text on the drum was also censored. These guns have been changed to... Oh, is this the fabled epic purple guns we've been searching for? You could consider them more of a reddish pink colour, but maybe we'll just give in to our desire and say they're purple. Lake, again being donked on the head and also kicked in the face by his grandpa, was removed. A small non-censor, but 4Kids have left several guns uncensored in this episode. I wonder if they saw the writing on the wall at this point, with 4Kids possibly losing the One Piece license, and just didn't care as much about censoring every small instance where a gun is shown. The flashing yellow question mark icon above Usopp's head has been censored. Henzo crying, causing a tear to drop on his knee, has been censored, removing the teardrop. Episode 142. The 2 wine bottles in Ian's jail cell were censored. The kanji text on the back of the Marine Major's cape has also been removed, and the Marine ship has had the text Marine changed to Navy. Henzo being shoved to the ground by Rapa Nui, and the ensuing conversation between Henzo, Usopp and Rapa Nui was cut from the 4Kids dub, picking back up when Henzo stands up again. This skips about a minute of content. A scene of the kids and Usopp crying was removed in the 4Kids dub. The smoke trail coming from Sanji's cigarette has been censored. Wetten's flame suit has been renamed Fire Suit. Rapa Nui's backstory about his dad being an officer in the Navy and eventually finding his dad's ship in the Rainbow Mist was skipped in the 4Kids dub. The pistol in Ian's waistband has been removed, along with the scene of Ian pointing his gun at Rongo's head while using him as a hostage. Isoka holding a knife to Nami's neck was removed in the 4Kids dub. As Rongo tries to escape from Ian, he headbutts Ian in his private parts. This scene was edited in the 4Kids version to have Rongo hit Ian's upper leg instead, with Ian holding his private parts in pain being cut from the scene. Ian pointing his gun at Isoka has been censored by editing out the gun, and again in the scene afterwards when Robin stops him by using her extra arms. Another funny scene in the 4Kids version, this time with Usopp yelping for no reason.
Robin, what is it?
A sea prism stone.
Chopper being kicked in his side by Wetten has been removed. Sanji's shock burns have been edited to lessen the red markings. However, the guns in this scene have been left uncensored, so this scene in particular has both been censored and left uncensored at the same time. Sanji lighting his cigarette was removed in the 4Kids dub. The big teardrop icon on the back of Lake's head was edited out of the scene. Episode 143. The Wetten soldier climbing the ladder and being whacked with a pole by Paku had his whole body's position lowered, so instead of being hit in the face with the pole, Paku just straight up misses but still causes the soldier to fall off the ladder anyway. The soldier's injuries have also been censored. A short scene of Sanji smoking was removed. Rapa Nui's, Chopper's, Flip's, Lake's and 2 other random soldiers' yellow flashing icons that are seen above their heads were removed. Nico Robin's Those Flares ability has been renamed to Floret. The Roman numeral for 9 has been censored from the Rainbow Mist book. In this same scene, and as discussed earlier in the video, Nico Robin's dialogue has been altered to better match the removal of the Roman numerals in the 4Kids version. 4Kids Robin has only been reading a single book instead of 9 volumes like in the Japanese version, so while Robin is searching for something in the book only for it to not be in the current volume she's reading, her dialogue originally said, continued in the last volume, while the 4Kids version changes the dialogue to, see volume 2.
It's got to be in here somewhere.
What is it?
It says see volume 2.
Where is that? Nowhere!
I feel this just makes the removal of the Roman numerals redundant in the first place, but that's 4Kids for you. Sanji's injuries have been censored. The kanji for justice on the back of future Rapa Nui's jacket has been removed. The red swelling on the bump on top of Wetten's head has been censored. The flashback of the pumpkin pirates washing up on a beach after exiting the Rainbow Mist and becoming Marines, along with the reveal that it was Rapa Nui that wrote the Rainbow Mist books, was cut from the 4Kids dub. This episode ends with the Straw Hats witnessing a ship falling from the sky and landing on top of them. With this being the last episode 4Kids ever dubbed, this scene implies that the 4Kids version of the Straw Hats died right then and there.
What's this?
Maybe it's Wetten's mansion.
You don't think this is another time warp, do you?
Maybe this time the sky's just falling.
A fitting end to this dub in my opinion. Bonus information. I just want to throw a few tidbits into this section as well. Everyone knows about the 4Kids One Piece rap, But did you know that the rap wasn't originally going to be the 4Kids intro, and that 4Kids had actually dubbed the original We Are intro into English themselves, well before Funimation came onto the scene with their version? Its only proof of existence is from a camera recording of what is known to be at a licensing convention in 2004, which was uploaded to YouTube by Alexander, although it is noted by the uploader that they weren't the ones actually filming. The video also has another notable change, as this version of the intro has Dan Green, the voice of Yugi in the 4Kids dub of Yu-Gi-Oh!, as the narrator, while in the final version of the show, he has been replaced by Eric Stewart, the voice of Kaiba.
King of the pirates, Gold Roger was his aim. His very last words drove men to the sea.
My treasure, it's yours if you want it, but you'll need to find it first. I left everything I own in one piece.
Not much is known about the 4Kids version of We Are, and why it was eventually replaced by the One Piece rap, but I'm assuming it was a marketing decision, which in hindsight did more harm than good. Another tidbit I wanted to mention are the 4Kids promos for One Piece. These would play during commercial breaks, or such as the one I'm about to show you was included on a DVD that was packaged together with toy action figures. Uploaded onto YouTube with the title of The Hunt Begins by Neutron Flow, the promo video is a 30-minute long advertisement that provides a summary of various characters, including the first 4 Straw Hat crew members and the villains they had faced up to that point in the story.
Monkey D. Luffy is the captain of the Straw Hat crew, and while much of his past is still a mystery, his future, at least in his mind, is clear as can be.
I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Huh? The king?
That's right, king of the pirates! See? I got plans! I'm gonna be king of the pirates! I'm who's gonna be king of the pirates! Just you wait and see!
The DVD also includes a couple of music AMVs.
They say I break the rules. I guess it's how it seems. Cause the goal I have in mind, others merely dream. And as I make my way down the road of no return, I'll be fighting as I go, I won't crash and burn.
Ooh, I don't go it alone. You're the friend at my side. It's the others who should change that same itty bitty ride. Be a pirate. Why not break down doors? Be a pirate. And steal the dream that's yours. Be a pirate. You should seek, never hide. Find the treasure buried deep inside.
As well as some montages of battles that Luffy and Zoro have fought in.
Let's do this.
Join me solo right now! Gum double barrel!
Onigiri!
It really does seem like 4Kids put in a lot of effort to make One Piece successful in the West, but just went after the wrong audience for the show. And with that, we have seen every change 4Kids made to One Piece. It's been quite a ride. Let me know which changes or edits you liked the best or found the funniest in the comments below. This video is years of work in the making, spending my free time watching and compiling all these changes and turning them into videos for you all to enjoy. I do just want to say that you shouldn't wish ill will towards 4Kids for what they did. The early 2000s was a different time, and the culture around dubbing shows was also very different. They had to play to the tune of the TV stations and what airtime they could afford, and a whole host of other factors. Yes, they shouldn't have bought the license, considering they didn't seem to know what One Piece was actually about. But at the same time, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon also had varying degrees of violence and depictions of weapons, with the censorship in those anime not being as hated by Western kids or anime fans at the time. Mistakes were clearly made, and then Funimation came along and now we have a fully uncensored English dub. So let's just look back at these changes and have a bit of a laugh and a giggle, and let's not dwell on hating a now defunct company and the people who were just doing their jobs. The journey is not quite over yet. After 4Kids lost the license to the One Piece anime, Funimation took over the dubbing of One Piece. At first, Funimation decided not to dub One Piece from the beginning again, and instead carry on from where 4Kids left off. This was likely to appease dub fans, as restarting from episode 1 would ensure it would be a while before they would reach the Post-Arabasta arcs again. I'm sure there was also a financial reason as well, as many viewers would drop off waiting for the new arc to be dubbed, and the series would lose any momentum it had left after the disappointment that was the 4Kids dub. Funimation also decided to carry over some of the quirks of the 4Kids dub to make a smoother transition to their new version, such as the name changes and censoring of violence. So next time, I'll be listing every change Funimation made to One Piece, the Jaya and Skypiea arcs episodes 144 to 195. These will likely be split up into separate videos as well. If you like my content and want to support what I do, then check out my Patreon or YouTube channel membership. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked it and subscribe for future videos.